Hello. Oh my god. I'm glad the day went how it was supposed to go. I've been really bad on Mondays. Okay. I'm gonna put that out there. Um, I've been terrible every week when it comes to just like anything, and I was hoping today would go well and that stream would happen and nothing would get in the way. And so far so good. I say that, but now we need good luck for plushies and then everything's perfect. But I'm here. I put my schedule out today. I forgot to do it yesterday, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie and be like, yeah, I just didn't put it up. No, I fully forgot. I didn't even make it. I left it until this morning, was like, oh no, like so Wednesday is a possible stream. Wednesday may or may not happen. I can't say if it's gonna happen because I don't know what's gonna happen yet. I have like 2 appointments on that day. If it was just the one, it would be fine. I might not even be home in time for stream. Hopefully I am, but there's a chance I might not be. So I don't want to say I'm going to be live if I'm not. So I did just put like, it might be cancelled. Let's hope it's not. But it also depends how I feel after the appointment. I don't want to be like coming on stream after an appointment and being like, I'm so happy right now. No. I'll just see how it goes. I'll see how Wednesday goes. Otherwise, there's no reason I shouldn't be live on Friday. So it all depends on Wednesday's vibes, okay? Today's stream, great. We have weeklies to do, we have new plushies, and it's the last day for drops. And I do have the 4 coins that we got for the I don't even know what it's for. It was for like 400k of something. I don't know what the 400k is. I don't know what that's for, but we hit a goal of some kind and they gave us coins. It was like a week ago, I don't remember. But I have 4 of them. I also finally bought the landscape. The one I said I was going to get like 2-3 weeks ago. I finally bought it. The like newer Elderwood one. And I think it was yesterday. I sat down, my mum was like, hey, do you want me to like go through and teach you how to play PALIA? Finally. And we sat down and I plugged the Switch in to charge my Switch. I haven't used my Switch in, well, at all this year, I don't think. And if I have used the Switch, it's because I hadn't any access to my PC. From desperation. And the game needed updating like 6 times. So like, if you don't update a game for so long, obviously it accumulates. It had a 25-minute update. And then for some reason, it didn't add the other updates to that. So it was an hour-and-a-half update. So we left it at that. And then she'd gone somewhere and come back. And I was like, hey, it's finished. Do you want to do it still? So she did make a character. And she tried to do a little bit of like the intro stuff. But she got to the like Einar fishing quest. Like the first quest he gives you to go and fish. Like go talk to him for the first time. And she was like, yeah, I'm going to leave it there. I think it tired her out. She was already tired before that. But it's kind of stressful, right? You've never done something or it's been a long time since you've done something like that. Like, yeah, it would tire me out too. So she did play it. We did start playing it. I have added her as a friend. But I used my referral code on her account. So I got a little mushroom. Only the first one because I need like five referral people to use my referral code, but all good. All good. We have the other stuff. I just don't have the new mushrooms except for that one now. So I do have him. He's in front of me. I can see him on the screen. And he's adorable and I love him. And he matches the Elderwood vibe so well for this landscape that I'm happy I did that now. We need to get like, I think 3 or 4 more so we can get the bigger ones. I don't think they're going anywhere, but I'm worried one day they're going to be like, yeah, we're getting rid of the mushroom referral. What? And I'm going to be like, what do you mean? Please don't do that. So let's hope. But yeah, we have weeklies and the market. The market, I believe, is 6 p.m. just like everything else. So I'm gonna double check that, and then we can make sure to go there every time because I really do want to get these new plushies. I'm gonna make sure I can get them. We've obviously got one. I didn't realize what the plushies were. I thought they were like different versions of the food ones. I didn't realize they were like completely different plushies, but they're still cute nonetheless. But we do have one. We have like the armadillo one. So we need the other ones. The only reason I have that one is from the what was it? It was the drops that are on right now. The drops that are on right now. I got it from that. So that's the only reason I have any of them. But there's like a cat one. And then like another one. Oh, it's like a sausage dog, right? Or a corgi or something. So we have those that we need to get. So the market is from 6 p.m. till 3 a.m. 6 p.m. So that's fine. We can remember that. So I think we're going to just do weeklies and then go to the market a couple times. I'm going to assume it's 5 a.m. so we can get started with quests. And then we can go there. Hopefully we remember. So I don't remember. I'm going to be there annoyed myself. But it's okay. It should be like 3:45 when we need to go. But yes. Anyway. I got this little guy. Oh, I keep jumping on him. I got this little guy. Finally. And I did buy it. I finally bought the landscape. Because how cute is this? Tony invited me over to his plot. I think, was it last stream or the stream before? And I just look at it. It's like stars. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Like this like shiny stuff. I don't know what it's supposed to be. I'm choosing to believe it's stars or something, but it's obviously not because it's not the night sky, but I love it. I think it's so beautiful. And like mushrooms. It was like made for me. Like, come on. A plot with permanent mushrooms. Okay, hello. How have you been? How's your weekend? Hopefully you had a good weekend. I did nothing productive. Are you? I'm good. I'm good. I've had a very stable day, which is why I'm streaming. I was worried that Monday would go bad. Like every week for the last 3 weeks, Mondays have gone bad. They've gone bad and they've ruined the streams for the week. Luckily today everything's good. I'm grinding PALIA as well. Ooh, what are we grinding for? Is it coins? These coins? Because I am not gonna lie, kind of desperately like want loads of them for no reason. I feel like I need the two new ones, but I haven't been to the market in so long that I also want the other ones as well. Even though I have them already, I want loads of them. I just want to put them everywhere. I want to make a pot full of just like carrot plushies and like turnip plushies and stuff. Hell yes. I think it'd be so cute. Just have like a plot dedicated to just the miniature ones. But yeah, I just put this house down, like random. But this is such a pretty plot. I'm really glad I went to Tony's plot to have a look, because I wouldn't have bought it, I don't think, otherwise. Wait, can we go over here? Wait, how far out can I go? Hello? I can't build here though, right? I don't think I can build here. No, I can't. But look at that. Look at that. Your plot looks amazing. This is literally just a plain plot. I've put nothing but a house on it. We're gonna go back to my actual plot in a second. But this is a plain plot. It's just a random house I put down. Because I have like loads of them. Like, it's so pretty. Love it. I am gonna use this one as like the motivation to decorate finally, because I've been bad, right? Really bad. I have the itch to decorate in the game, but nothing feels like the game I want to do it in. The Sims looks amazing right now. There's like a new pack out, I think it is. It's so cute. It's like fairies and like magical stuff. It looks so good. It's literally me. And I don't know why I haven't played it, but I just refuse to like buy packs for games. I hate it. I'm like, I'll buy in-game content. I don't want to buy DLCs. It's really bad. I don't play The Sims enough to buy DLCs. I used to play it all the time. But then Dreamlight Valley, I'm like, I love decorating in that game too. I just don't have the motivation right now. And I bought this today just for stream, and I was like, yeah, this is the motivation to actually finally decorate properly. Because my actual plot is barely decorated at all. I have a house and that's about it. PALIA, didn't know there were DLC in this. Oh, there's not DLC in PALIA, but I'm talking about The Sims. So The Sims has a lot of DLC, and a lot of the time people just make like similar versions of it that you can download for free that other people make. But I don't like DLC. I don't like DLC. It kind of annoys me. I'm a little bit like, you know, if the game's paid for and then you make me pay for the DLC, yikes. I don't like that. But this is well worth like £15. Yes, this costs like £15. I'm not gonna lie, it did. And you cannot decorate up here, which is annoying. You can only decorate down there, I think. But it's so pretty. And if anyone is curious, I believe Tony said when I went to his plot that this landscape does not change time of day. I think it just says dark the whole time. But there's so much around here, it's insane. Like, I kind of wish you could build in all these little crevices, but annoyingly you cannot. But I'm gonna leave the little mushroom friend here, just hanging with his friends. I love how dark it is. That's what he said as well. Tony invited me over to look at it before I bought it, and he was like, the best thing about it is it's just dark all the time. So it's like a good vibe if that's what you really like. But what plot is it? It's the, let's have a look. The Elderwood Cabin. It's like £15, I think, right now in this shop, but it might go on sale soon. Because there's this one, but it's cute and I like it, but I prefer this one. Because this one's the other Elderwood one. There's only like 2, I think, right now. And it's cute. It gives like the, what is it called? Remember what it's called? The wood, like, forest place in Elderwood. That's the vibes I get. But this is like one of the little caves. And I love that so much more. Underground is better. Yes. I prefer this one so much more. So much more. Hang on. Do I actually have... I was going to say. But yeah, we are going to go back to this one. Because this is my actual plot with everything important on it. All the important stuff that I haven't attended to over the weekend. But yeah, we have two plots that I need to decorate now properly because I spent money, I have to decorate. That's the way to get me to do something, is like if I spend money on it, I'm more likely to actually invest time into it. Otherwise, I feel guilty. Like, I've just bought something and I'm not going to do anything with it. No. It's like I feel guilty for not wearing a skin. So, like, sometimes I'll wear a skin even if I don't want to wear it. Or, like, clothes and things in games. If I buy something, I'm like, if I don't use it or wear it, I feel bad that I bought it, right? I don't know if that's just a me thing, but I kind of make myself use the thing that I got. Even if I don't want to. It's such a stupid concept, but you know what? At least I'm making myself use the things I bought. I did spend a month, though, contemplating if I wanted that landscape, but got it in the end. Got it in the end. We are gonna just sort everything out on my plot, and then we'll go into... Wait, did I not have anything in here the whole time? And then we'll go do weeklies. You gotta enjoy it? Yeah. If I don't use the things I bought, I feel bad because I should have enjoyed it. That's the thing. Like, imagine you spend like £15 on a game for a virtual item and you just don't use it. The guilt sets in for me. I mean, I kind of imagine if my mum can really get into PALIA, she's gonna spend at least a little bit of money on it, because there's just no way. She's a clothes person. She likes clothes a lot, fashion and stuff. So I can imagine if she ever got addicted to games, that would be the one thing that would be bad. Oh my god, we did not fill anything up the last time I played, huh? We just like walked away and didn't care. Look, I have nothing in any of my crafters. That's terrible. Human plays. She tried to play for the first time yesterday. I've been saying it on stream a lot, and some people have been like, I can't believe you've not taught how to play yet. It's become a running joke. But I finally got her to play a little bit yesterday. After me saying I would for a while. And she got to the part where you go and speak to Einar for the first time and do the fishing. That's as far as she's got. But we'll try again another day and see how far we can get. And see if she becomes addicted. I think she would like the game more if she did it independently instead of me like trying to tell her what to do every 2 seconds, because I feel like I'm very bad at giving directions. I was telling her to like because she's playing on the Switch and I don't use controller. Like I don't even have my controller on my desk anymore. I used to have, because I would use the Switch, but I haven't used a Switch in 6 months, so it's hers if she wants it. I forget trigger, bumper, stick, like joystick, like I forget the names and like I call them the wrong thing, and I'm telling her to press one button, she presses it and it does something I didn't want her to do, and I'm like, no way, that's the wrong one. It's my fault. I'm giving the bad directions. I'm terrible at giving instructions and directions. So I tried. But yeah, if she enjoys it, I don't know, maybe she'll play with us on stream. We'll have to see. But I think we've done everything. Right? I think. Okay, we're gonna go and do... We have until 6 PM in game. Okay, we're checking if my weeklies are bugged. Still. PALIA. If anyone at Singularity 6 is here, somehow, or sees this, please help me understand. I haven't cooked a meal in 2 months. How are any of these completed or nearly completed? Make it make sense. I haven't caught a bug in a week. I haven't done fishing or anything. I haven't touched these, and somehow they are done. So this one, correct. I have done this. And then this one I've done as well. That's it. That's all I've done. I guess it stays like that. That's what I was thinking, but everyone said theirs doesn't do that. Like if they do, let's say like with this, it says I've caught 10 out of 30 fish. A lot of people have said that doesn't happen to them if they only catch 10 and then it rolls over to the next week. But for some reason mine does. I need to look it up. I've literally been putting it off for weeks, but yeah, it bugs out a lot and it's actually a bad thing because sometimes they don't complete if they've already had like something done. So like this could be bugged this week and not move. Despite me catching like 30 bugs, it still wouldn't be completed, but we'll see. We'll see if it's bugged or not. So let's go and do let's go do mining. So let's go to Bahari and do that. I didn't check if I repaired anything. I don't think I'll have anything to repair though. I don't really know what we did last stream. But yeah, I'm hoping they don't get bugged because it's kind of annoying. I don't need the medals too much. I'm not gonna lie. We don't need them too much right now. What am I on? I've got like at least, I would say nearly 200 for every single skill now. I'm doing pretty well. I used to have 10 to 20 medals because I never used to do weeklies, but my nearly level 400. What are we closest to getting? Bugs. Okay, so when this goes up, I'll be level 400. Finally. Oh yeah, we're okay for tools. Yeah, I'm hoping nothing gets bugged. It's like I say, I don't need it. I don't need them, but they would be nice. You know, try and accumulate the medals a little bit so that then I can buy cute stuff. I didn't know there were weeklies. You didn't? We do them every Monday now. If you go to achievements, they're at the top. It's the ones with the medals on them. And then these are the general achievements, the blue ones. So these, like, beige colored ones. These ones are the weeklies. They're not very hard to do. Some of them might be like you need to do hunt 5 magical creatures, or maybe something like cut down 5 magical trees. Those might be a bit difficult if you struggle to find them, but other than that, they're not hard to do. I just do them on Mondays so I have something to do on stream. Because I struggle sometimes with knowing what to do. I could do anything on stream, don't get me wrong. I don't have to have a sort of like agenda to know what to do on stream. It's perfectly fine to just stream and do whatever, but I feel like that can get boring for me. I'm like, I need to know what we're going to do on stream before I actually stream. So then I was like, why don't we just do weeklies on a Monday? Do weeklies on a Monday. Something always happens on a Tuesday, so that Wednesday streams, if they happen, there's always something to do. And then Friday, we do whatever I feel like on the day. But typically what I end up usually doing if I don't have a plan is just mining or hunting. I think those are like my favorite ones right now. But we need gold, and we need to, I think, just mine in general, right? 20 nodes, 10 rare, and 5 with other people. Typically what I do, if I'm not playing with other people, I can just like run up to like a node while someone else is doing it and hope I get like a hit on the node while they do, and it just gives me like 1. But that doesn't always happen. Annoyingly. Yeah, I don't really need anything. I literally don't really need that many materials right now. I just think, okay, well, let's just hit them all. We find gold, we find gold. Usually when you find 1 gold, you find like 50 of them. It's like, I know I could probably be catching these bugs too. I don't need them. I feel like it's an unnecessary thing. Like, I watched a video when I was with my mum doing the Switch and PALIA and stuff yesterday. And it was, is it Sarah Sunstone? I think she's called on YouTube. She does like a lot of guides and like talks through like updates for games and stuff. And she did like a video of like everything you need to know about PALIA before it came out originally into the beta. And she was like, oh, the devs have encouraged you only take materials that you need. And I was like, only take materials that I need. As like a thing of like the lore and the story. Not literally, but you know what I mean? Oh god. Bye-bye. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not gonna do that. I'm just gonna go and loot random stuff. I've always been that way in games. I never need anything in a game. I'm always just like collecting something because I enjoy the skill connected to it. I always get as much as I need. Same. I literally just like... yeah, not as much as you need, as much as you can, yeah. I'm a hoarder. In a game where there are skills to gather things, like mining and chopping down trees, I'm terrible. Terrible. What is it? Like New World. Whenever I play New World, I don't play it serious. I am max level, I think, in New World, unless they've added more. On like 2 accounts. But I genuinely don't do anything. I don't really do quests, unless I'm really feeling it. If I play New World at all, it's going to be me just running around mining rocks and chopping down trees. I once spent 2 weeks playing New World continuously every single day for hours on end. All I did was cut down trees so I could level up my logging skill. Somehow I found joy in that. I don't really know if I can give a reason for how I found that like enjoyable, but I did. You know, different playstyles, I guess. There's most people that are like, oh, let me do quests and like find out about the story and do something I actually need. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to chop down 50 trees for 2 weeks. Not 50 trees, 50,000 trees for like 2 weeks straight. Oh, it's addicting? Yeah. I love this game so much. Yeah. I love any game really that has a leveling system. I think that's my thing. I've always had this idea that like if something can be leveled up, I can get bored a lot less easy. right? I love the idea of like achieving things. That for me, I think must be the one thing that appeals me to a game. If there's achievements and levels and skills, I feel like I'm never gonna get bored. That's why it annoys me though when people say like, oh, I've done everything in the new update, like I have nothing to do now. I'm like, are you sure you've done everything? Just grind a shot. Yeah, exactly. Just grind it for however long. Obviously, some people might not find that fun. But like, if you've done everything and you still want to try and play the game to some extent, literally just like do your skills and get them leveled up. You know? As long as there is a leveling system in the game. But in Palia, like, that's the one thing I don't think people think about. Like, literally just like grind medals and decorate and that's it really. And like friendships. I haven't done my friendships yet. If I ever say I have nothing to do in Palia, that is a reminder I need from people. Do my friendships. I'm awful with friendships in any game. I could play a game for 3 years straight. This game has nearly been out for like, what, 2 or 3 years? And I've barely gotten past level 4 or 5 with anyone. I think the one person I'm working on Tish. I think Tish was the first person. Let's have a look. First person I got to unlock their like house. So like she's level 4, but she's nearly level 5. She's ooh, what is this? I don't know what this is. But yeah, I got her, Zeke, Gina, and that's it. That are level 4. So I don't have access to anyone else's rooms or houses or anything like that. But luckily they do have that like feature now where you can just speak to someone. You just can't go in their room. But you didn't used to have that. That wasn't a thing. You could only speak to them when they were asleep if you had level 4. Which is so annoying. But yeah, I got Tish to it first because I wanted her to be my ship. And I was like, I love her. She reminds me of Rapunzel, so how can I not? How can I not? Okay, we need gold. We need gold. I haven't seen any gold. Do we think I'm gonna have a better chance of getting silver? Should I go back to Killimer and do that? We'll clear this area out. If I don't find any gold, we are gonna go and find silver, and then we'll go to the market. She's an in-game hottie. Tamala is too. I mean, I'm not gonna deny it. My one person I do want to romance is Gel. I almost wish we could romance Ajira, but I understand why we can't, which I love that we can't for the reason it's like, you know, but I love him. Like, I love him in like he's adorable. And like, I don't have to describe it. I love him because he's adorable, not because like the reason I like Gel. The reason I like Gel versus Ashira is so different. Very dramatic. Yeah, the difference between them is insane. The reason why I like Gel is because he's mysterious and everyone thinks he's a vampire. I mean, the guy literally doesn't leave his shop until it's like the middle of the night. And he just goes and looks out of the water for like 2 hours and then goes back in his house and goes to sleep. That's all he does. That's all he ever does. I love that for him, you know? So I'm kind of a bit like, okay, that's why I love him. He's a vampire, clearly. But Ashira's just so cute. I love him. He's an undead, literally. I believe he is. I remember when we were playing the alpha, and that was the one discussion I had with everyone. Was like, no, he's definitely a vampire. He's definitely a vampire. If he's not a vampire, he has to be something else. He has to be. He's too mysterious. He's too mysterious. But I think the one person a lot of people are romancing is, oh god. I forget names every time I stream. Oh no, Ref. Ref's the one that I keep seeing people say they want to romance, and I just don't get the goofiness. I feel ashamed. I just don't get the vibe like everyone else. Really? Yeah. At least like a lot of girls I've seen Oh, not you again? Oh, not you again. Oh no. Are you on your break? Or are we not at work today? I'm gonna assume you're on your break. Yeah. I have seen a lot of girls say that they want a romance ref. I just wish I got the vibe. Oh, you're on your to space, really? How did you end up there? Oh, I could have made a good joke there, actually. Damn it. I always miss the opportunities to make jokes. My god, I'm just not quick with it. Did you buy the bow and pickaxe that displays the damage? I didn't. The only ones I have are these ones. So I have the... Oh, you can't see it. You cannot see it. I have the frog ones, which only apply to... I think 3 or 4. 4 of the tools have the frogs on them. Which, like, how could I not? You know? But then the other ones I have is just the green ones. But yeah, I don't have the... Is it this one? I think it is. Yeah. What's my vibe? It looks cool though, but it's just not my vibe. Your and jokes should never be in the same sentence. Okay, I'm getting quite fed up of everyone saying I'm not funny. I find myself quite amusing. I really do. And everyone keeps saying that if I tell a joke, they're like, oh my god, that was quick for you. Like, excuse me? What? You are? See? Oh, see, okay, like, see. I have someone on my side. Thank you. You think what you want to think. I am funny, okay? I watch my own VODs back and I laugh. Now, maybe I'm just delirious or insane. But hey, I mean, I talk to myself all day and I find myself hilarious. Joe's the only funny person in your household. Well, that's true. My brother's not very funny either. It's a good job they're not home right now. Or at least I don't think they are. He's at work, so he didn't hear that. I cannot find gold. We might have to leave the gold or silver, whichever one we can find, until after the market, because the market is going to begin soon. And I want to kind of just like talk to everyone there. That's like the one thing I could say to people that are trying to like level up. If the market's on, go to the market and talk to everyone. You don't have to like read it all. It's just like you just talk to them like on a daily, and it levels them up quick. If you can bring gifts to the market too, it's obviously going to be even better. The other thing about you is how you have sheep in your back garden. If I had sheep in my back garden, I would not be streaming. I'd just be sat there with the sheep all day. I love that. I love the idea of that. Imagine having sheep in my back garden. Honestly, I don't think that would be bad. Oh wait, is it sheep that... No. It's goats that like ram into you, right? With the horns. I was about to say, maybe they're not too cuddly, but actually that's a different one. We disconnect. We're back. Guys. I don't know what just happened. I don't know what just happened. You know, the reason why this just happened? Oh my god. Okay, I'm back. I don't know if it's worth it. We've only been live 40 minutes. I don't know if it's worth me like stopping stream really quick and opening OBS as admin, restarting stream. But the problem with that is I have to sort my light and stuff out again on my camera. I didn't open OBS as admin, and I've been doing that for the past like 5-6 streams, and it worked. And before I did that, it would crash all the time. I'm a bit worried it's gonna crash again. Okay, if that happens, I'm going to end stream super quickly. I will not be going anywhere. I will be coming back. If it disconnects, you can believe I will be coming back. And I will restart stream super quickly, okay? I'm going to keep my eye on it. I keep going up to like 5,000 kilobytes per second. Like, I don't want to be on that number. That's not good. That's not good. Why does this always happen? Let's just go to the, Wait. Wait. Wait, is the market not on? Am I stupid? No! Wait! It's there though! Can I not see it? Fairgrounds. Fairgrounds. Oh my god. I was like, wait, did I miss the market? I only played it once. Don't play me like that, Billy. I want them to move the names around and put Kilima below it and put Fairgrounds at the top. It makes so much more sense. All I see is Kilima, 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 Bahari, Bahari. My god. Okay. I am a little bit worried about stream though. That literally has not happened in weeks because I did the admin thing. I'm actually not going to Parable today and say I got you when you're not, so just best be proud, changed man. That what happens when you go to a concert. Oh wait, you've been to 3. You went to 3 now. Is that like the first concert you've ever been to, or have you been to one before? Yeah, I don't know why it crashed other than that. That could be the only reason I can think for it crashing. Ooh, I kind of like the blue today. Maybe. Not the bee though. I want the plumhound. Where's my plumhound gone? Plumhound, plumhound. There we go. Where is he? Yeah. No, I went to the earring store. You wish. You wish. You knew I would kill if you did. Oh my god. Oh, they're here already. Hello. No. No. We're not doing that, Ref. We're not doing it. That is not happening. Okay, we're gonna talk to everyone. We're gonna talk to everyone. And then while we're waiting for the market games to start, I think then we'll see if stream's okay. I wish I knew why it kept happening, to be honest. There's no reason for the stream to crash at all. So like for the stream to like just crash randomly all the time is extremely annoying. Hey, let me speak to you. Thank you. Guess it's been a while since I'd even heard through. Are you listening to the music? Hey, why is your dad always on the floor? Oh wait, did I just start a quest? Did I just start a quest? I'm getting my water ready. Yep. Every time. I'm ready for it now. I'm always ready for it. Every time. My mum said to me the other day, is it just Jack that makes you like drink water? And I was like, no, it's Raz as well. Every time they come in. Like, I feel like every time one of you enter, it's typically one of you enters with like the hydrate every time. So like, if you don't do it by the next hour and Raz turns up after work, although I think he finishes work 4:30 because he usually comes in around then. And he just does the hydrate and that's that. And then he says hi. I love the entrance. Is this... Oh, this is a quest, I think. The traditional wedding gift for those on the Diviner's path is platinum. My sister Rosie got me and Lita the most beautiful platinum grill tools. So it wouldn't be right for me to not make something special for her. Which means Najima and I gotta go into the Elderwood just when I finally convinced her it was too dangerous. It's almost like she and Rosie concluded. Colluded. Colluded? You know, I bet Rosie timed her proposal just so I'd have to take Najima into the Eldwoods to get her a gift. Can you just buy something? Can you just buy something? I'm going to say you had the good sense, not just I get my sister a Stormwall wedding gift. I can get you the Pallium. Pallium? Platinum. Platinum. He wants platinum. I suppose if I made the gift myself, it wouldn't exactly break any traditions. Bring me back a platinum bar, and in the meantime, I'll try to get things up from what I should. Oh. Oh yeah, I accepted it. Okay. I did not mean to do that quest, by the way. I skipped through it a little bit, and I feel bad. Did not mean to do that. I gotta be careful. Okay, let's just do the chat. Okay. Hi, Tao. What ails you, my four-legged friend? Would a head pat help? Oh my god.
I've grown to not dislike our chats.
Skipping through. Eloisa. I'm not reading that, girl.
Have you read Crime Times? It's so gory.
Skipping through. Okay, I think... Wait, did we speak to Arnie? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. Of course I didn't. Didn't... Hang on, I'm just realizing that Tish isn't here anymore. Like, I'm only just realizing Tish doesn't spawn. I still can't tell if Gina is Australian or British.
Please state your needs.
Think we've done... Ooh, cool outfit. I think... Oh. I just lagged a little bit. I don't know what's happening. Please. Please, OBS, just be nice to me. Okay, time to go out to it. Oh my god. Leave. Leave right now. Oh my god. Okay. I am doing my claw machines. Snail. We want turnip, right? Feel. I don't want to look. Oh, we did it! We did it! Wait, did we get the other one? Please tell me I did. Did it! You got it. Let's go. Use all your games of Hot Pot. I'm not playing Hot Pot today, so thank you. But we got these guys. I obviously already have this guy. But, you know what? It's just a bonus. That's fine. And then... I'm gonna... probably do one more. Let's keep with the machine we did it on. See what we can get. Frog. Another frog. We got a carrot. That's good. I like that one. I like all of them. They're so cute. Although I don't know why I didn't think. I honestly thought it was all vegetables. I don't know why I didn't think they were all vegetables. Because these are the original ones as well. I thought it was just these ones. Which is weird. But yeah, we have all of them now. I have their ones as well, but now we can just keep doing it though. That's the thing. Even though I've got them, I'm still gonna keep doing it. We have absolutely no no tickets. I don't think I have any stamp cards to do. I wish that these would like redo every time the market came out. All I have is pop 5,000 balloons total in Papa Chapper and catch 1,000 chappers total during Chapper Chase. And then the 250 chappers total in a party. And then probably like 500. They're not even... They're gonna take a while. Because like some of these took me like the whole of the Maji market the last time obviously I completed them, but It was like a way longer thing back then. It's like, what, 2 weeks that the market is now? We only get the market for like 2 weeks. So in comparison, like, I don't know, like, there's no reason for me to be here essentially because I do have everything. I own at least one of every one of these. And I have all the food in start. I have no quest to do. I barely any of these to do. But I guess I just gotta like pop loads of balloons and catch loads of trappers and just get loads of tickets. I just wish there was more ways to get tickets. You know? Like they added the Pop Chapper, is it called? They added that in, which is great, but like I kind of wish we had more. I don't know. I wish that the that's something I wish, actually, now that I just realized. Hot Pot used to be a Maji Market thing, right? If anyone played after that changed, it used to be a Maji Market thing. You couldn't play Hot Pot unless Maji Market was on. And it used to happen like very like it wasn't very frequent. So you could only play every so often. People loved it so much that they put it in the underground market, in the black market, whatever you want to call it. But now like it's not here. It used to be on this bit here. And now you have to go down there and do it instead. I wish it was here as well. You know, why is it not here as well? I feel like it would go really, really well. Even like four tables, that would work. I think that could work right well. I feel like we need something like Hot Pot. We can do a new thing. It doesn't have to be Hot Pot. But I feel like having something alongside these two games that is like more of like a something that's like not a game where we all have to collectively be like playing at the exact same time. Like Hot Pot, you have like 3 or 4 people play it, but you can also just play it with bots. Like you just play it solo and the bots fill. But like I don't want to have to just wait around and do nothing. You know what I mean? I feel like the idea that we need even just like a solo game that's like you spend gold to play it even. I'll do that. It gives me tickets, everything, like every round. You know what I mean? I'm going to the market. I've neglected it. Oh, the fairground, I should say. I'm only doing this for the plushies. Because I really like them. Otherwise, I just wouldn't even be doing this. Because, like, it's kind of useless. The amount that you get... It's not that worth doing. It's just like I really, really want the plushies. And I'm pretty sure I have all the plushies from Zeki's Market too. So it's kind of like not having much of like anything to grind for in a sense, but I kind of want multiple now. I was at a point where I was like, I'm not going to go to the market. I don't need anything. And I'm like, I don't know. Maybe I'll just grind it for the tickets. And if I want them in the future, I have them, right? Because they didn't even used to carry over, I don't think. It's like if you played and then you didn't play like the day before market went away, you just had a load of tickets for no reason. My god. There's not many blue ones. And if there are, people are popping them way too quick. So hectic. This is supposed to be cozy and I feel like I have to like rush. Right? I don't know if that's just me, but when I do this, I'm stressing. Don't get me wrong, Chopper Chase, annoying as hell. I'm not gonna lie. This is stressful. Chopper Chase is annoying now. I like Chopper Chase a lot, but it's very annoying because it bugs out. But like, in general, this is so stressful. Hello, good morning or afternoon in my time zone. You got 872. I can buy nothing. I can buy nothing. Yay! Like, look at this. What can I buy? Oh, I can buy some food. I guess. the fact that these cost 2,000 tickets is that should be illegal. Obviously, I haven't bought these yet. I don't want them. Maybe if we have loads of tickets and we just don't really need them anymore, I will probably buy those little things. This, obviously, I'm not gonna buy. Oh wait. Do we need to buy? How do we spend tickets to get the coins? Is that what we do? I'm gonna look that up. Do we spend the tickets to get the coins? Or is it we spend the gold to get the coins? How do we do that? How do I get activities? Trapper chase. It says hotpot. There's no hotpot anymore. I'm trying to think, like, how do we get the coins? I don't even know how to get the coins. Okay, I'm assuming you spend tickets. And the more tickets you spend over a certain amount is when you get. So, like, if I bought loads of this, it would be pointless, basically. Is what I'm hearing. And I believe I own every single thing in here. Like, at a multitude. I have, like, 7 or 8 of these. And I physically cannot afford a plush. So right now, the only thing I can actually afford is, like, food. About this one.
Good thing you popped by.
No. No.
Yeah, make
Where did your register go?
always make room at
Go.
the table for- Or if you're around the fire.
Oh my god. Okay. We can buy these. We could buy some of these. Let's just see. No, we got a starred one though. Keep that. We'll eat these. Okay. We'll eat them because why not? I can't do anything with them anyway. Ads begin in 3 minutes. Did I talk to you? I don't know if I did. Yeah, I think you spend a certain amount of your tickets, you get a coin. And it's like random if you don't spend that amount, but if you do spend tickets at all, it gives you the claw machine coins. Everyone stands here and it bugs me because this is the one place I know it gives me a chopper. I'm like, please don't take my chopper. Wait, did someone... Oh, someone put a lure down. Doesn't matter. The choppers are out. I wonder if this is easier to do on controller. I'm just gonna stand still. I stand still and hope it spawns in front of me. Are they even spawning at all? Yeah, they are, but they just spawn in the wrong place. There are so many people here right now. This is insane. I never remember there being this many people playing. There's not enough to go around. And they're not spawning. Okay, we're gonna run around like a madhead then. Because I don't think we're gonna be able to get one otherwise. All I need is at least one. At least one. Okay, we got one. I don't have to keep playing, but I want the stamped cards. So I'm gonna keep doing it. Sorry, friend. I need the tickets. Oh my god, I feel terrible now. I hate when other people take the choppers I'm trying to get. Now I'm the culprit. No! They're so frustrating for what? Why are they this difficult? Just give us more choppers for the amount of people. Like, I almost feel as though there should be an increase to choppers depending on how many people are playing. Right? I feel like that could work quite well. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe. I feel like there's just not enough. Like 5 and we're halfway through. 6. I used to be able to get like 15, 20. I wonder what my highest score is though. I don't even remember. I do not remember that. Ads are about to begin. Okay, we're gonna just see how many tickets I can get from this. And try and just buy more food. I think if I buy like the 150 food, I feel like that's gonna give me a higher chance of getting a ticket because I'm buying more of them. Maybe that's not correct. Maybe it might be just better me saving it and spending it all in one big go, but I'm not too sure. I don't know what works best. Maybe I need to go back to basics and watch a guide. Back in the day, I used to be the one making the guides. You know. Speaking of, I need to upload my VODs onto YouTube. I need to do that again. I really do. I've been dreadful with it. I'm so behind. I might try and upload this week's. And then get the other ones up. Not too sure how it will work better. But I do need to get them uploaded, like, desperately, because I have, like, 10 VODs not on my YouTube, and it was actually helping me a lot by posting on YouTube. So, if not, they're not profit videos, they're just VODs re-uploaded, it just helps bring more people in. And we love having new people. So I need to get back to it. Okay. We are not gonna get another chopper, there's just no way. And I'm making myself go dizzy. So, how many did I get? How many did I get? 438. So, smart thing would probably be to just keep them, but I am gonna go and do this. Let's try with this. Okay, we didn't get that either. Oh well. We have got all of these though. I cannot be too annoyed with that, can I really? I don't think I can. I got like, what, 6 plushies out of that? No. I cannot be annoyed. We spent the first hour? About the first hour of the stream. And we got like 6 plushies. I cannot be annoyed with that. That would be ridiculous if I was. So we're all good. And then we'll do that again in an hour. And we'll do it again in an hour. And we'll just see. We'll just see if I get any more. I just wish there were better ways of getting the tokens, the tickets. I just feel like not having other ways to get the tickets is just weird. It just feels very weird. But like, they don't want to give us more opportunities for it. You know? I feel like having more opportunities would make sense. Give me more opportunities. I'm literally just lining up all of my plushies now. Because I feel bad that I hid them all for so long. In my storage. So now I'm just kind of like... Hell yeah. Let me just line them up, like, for no reason. I have no use for them being here, but, you know. They look cute, so it's fine. I need to remember that I have them. Like, do I have any others that I haven't put out yet? Let's see. I do. Why are these not out? I'm just going to put all my plushies out so I can remind myself that I do in fact have plushies. Because that's just ridiculous that they're just like hidden. Just hidden in my storage. Look at all these. What do you mean I have all these plushies? And nobody knows about them. Hello? I have so many of them. I didn't realize I had this much now. I wasn't grinding plushies whatsoever before I started streaming again. And I realized when I started streaming I needed them. I was like, why do I have these? Why have I gone so long without them? Now I'm kind of obsessed. So I need to remember I have them and then I can decorate with them. I've only used a few. Only a few to decorate with. Like, look at all these. I forgot I had these. Hello? Wait, is that a plush? No, it's not. I was a bit confused for a second then. Oh my god, I have so many of them. It's filling up my inventory. I actually have done really good recently, right? When we first started streaming again, like, I had nothing. I remember the first message that, someone, I think it was Tony, he was like, you have no plushies, that's so sad, and I'll never forget that. I want that blue dragon one, the blue dragon one. This one? It's the Chapper Hut. I think you can buy that with tickets or money, I think. So if you go to the, like, I think it's the Chapper Chase one at the market. I think that's where it's from. I have run out of space. Okay, I have this many plushies. We're literally gonna just put them down. Because I'm gonna feel dreadful if I don't. I need to, like, see all of them. I'm just gonna randomly put them down. So many of them, it's ridiculous. Like, how many do you need of one thing? Honestly. It's 6,000 for the large or 8,000 for the small. 8,000 for the small? I haven't got my pool yet. You haven't got the pool yet? Do you need it? Like, have you not gotten it even though you should have? Or did you not have it because you haven't watched done the drops for long enough yet? Please don't tell me it bugs and didn't give it to you because that's very frustrating. I'm gonna hope that the reason you haven't got it yet was just because you haven't really watched the stream long enough. I'm gonna hope. You should have gotten it. Oh, I would message them about that. It might take a little while. I did look yesterday, I think it was, that they do have a backlog right now of support messages, annoyingly. But it's gonna bug me if I don't put these, like, somewhat organized. I gotta do it a little bit organized. We're gonna wait for this one to come up anyway. Is that straight? That's not straight. Is that straight? That's not straight either. That's crazy. What? Oh my god. How do you message them? Are you on PC? Because if you're on PC, I'm pretty sure you can just do this. It'll redirect you to their website, and I don't think you have to log in. I'm not sure, you might have to log in. But you just basically, like, go to the section on the website that relates to, like, the problem you're having. Ooh. Okay, let me give you the link. And if you have, like, on your phone or something, you should be able to do it on there instead. Copy, close. Okay. If that doesn't work, I apologize. I hope it does. You basically just go in there and find the problem you're having. And just like let them know, like, hey, you didn't give me the thing I deserve to have. Yeah. And then they should get back to you, but it might be a little bit longer than normal because I do think they have, like, quite a backlog right now. I'm pretty sure the message is on the website that says, like, they have a backlog. But they are genuinely, like, quite good at, like, giving people items that they haven't received. I tend to have been responded to quite quickly, but... Okay, do we have any other ones of those? We do! I have so many of these! Hello? Look at how many of these! I have more! 4. There we go. Oh my god. Okay, we're gonna move you out of the way. This is ridiculous. Wait, what? Oh, well, let me put it down. Something is not in the way. What? There is nothing in the way. That is crazy. There is nothing in the way. Okay, well, we might have to move that one over. We have to move them over now. It's going to be so frustrating. What's this one? I don't remember this one. This one's so cute. I have so many of these. Why do I have so many of the PALIas? Another one? Were these from drops? I'm going to assume these were from drops because I don't remember getting them for anything else. I think that's it though. I think that's all of them. Oh my god. So you're new. We got 2 of these. 2 of these new ones. I have loads of these. I have far too many of these. It is actually ridiculous how many of them that I have. Hello, Frogbert. Just spawned in my face. Okay, we have 3 more of these ones. 3 more of them. So we have 4 of these. We're gonna see how many of these I can get, because I'm probably gonna get loads more. That's the problem. Like, we have the frog. I want loads of the frogs. The frogs are the ones I want the most. Obviously, we can tell why. I don't have to explain that. You guys already know. I do have a couple more of these as well. They're just not here. I have them on my garden over there, I think. 7. Yeah, is it only 2 snails? Do I only have 2 snails? Oh, I do. That's it. That's all I have for the snails. Okay. We have 2 of these guys. We have 1 of you. Only 1. 1 little lonesome friend. And then we have, I think 2 of these, right? We got that guy. Oh! No, it's in my inventory. That's why. I was like, hang on. I could spawn. I had more. Gonna move the pool. It's kind of in the way. And it just turned 6 o'clock. So we're gonna do this. And then we're gonna water my plants. And then we're gonna go find gold because I need gold. I need gold or I need silver. I don't know which one's gonna be easy to find. I have no idea which is easier. I guess it's just luck. I guess it's just luck. I think I should move these. I think I should move them. I have so many, like, odd one outs. Like, this guy is probably gonna have to go back here. Because I have so many of these as well. Wait, do I have another green one? No. Okay. Blue. Pink. And then I have 2 of these ones. Do we have any more? Is that it? That's it. Okay. We have a lot. Oh, this guy. The purple one. Okay. And then the other one too. Oh, it's because he doesn't have a hat. That's why I was like, oh, I don't have any more. I do. That there. Right here. Oh, that's very annoying. They're kind of different, huh? They're kind of different, like, sizes too. I thought they were the same thing, but with different hats. Looks like they're not. Okay. I am gonna have to move these up. It's gonna drive me insane if I don't. Okay. And then we have these ones, which I'm gonna move back. There's so many of them. I didn't realize I had this much. I was like, oh, I don't have any plushies. I have none. Hello? Probably not loads compared to other people. But hey, do you know what? I don't care. I'll take it. Okay, for now I'm literally just gonna like leave these guys. Otherwise I will be doing this forever. Oh, please don't. Please don't do that. And then I'm gonna leave these guys as best as I can. It's gonna fuck me like crazy, but here. We have a little fish. I didn't realize I had a little version. I didn't know there was a little version. And then we have, I think, 2 of these. Do I have another one? I only got 1? I could have sworn I had another one. There must be another one somewhere. I love the Drake, though. The Drake's adorable. And then you guys can just, like, chill on the side, because you are gigantic. Gigantic. Where's the other guy? Are you a big one? No, you're a little one. Tiny. The blue one's tiny. I don't know why the blue one's so tiny. I think the, I don't have the big one. That's weird. I don't have a big one. The swan I had a big, I like a big version of the blue one. But apparently not. Also, we have another one of these. He's gigantic! I did not realize he was so big. I did not realize I had a massive chapper. Where did he come from? Like, when did that happen? I don't remember that happening. I'm not gonna lie, I don't remember that happening. I remember the giant frog bird, obviously. Okay, not. I just joined the PALIA, just got nice. That's probably a good place too, to also get like information you need. Because there might be other people with the same problem. So if you need any help, that's probably a good place to try and ask. Try and ask for the help. If someone else has a problem and they might have a workaround for it, or like maybe they know exactly what to do. I didn't even think about that. Any more? Before. They're so big and goofy, I love it. Then we have these guys. Yeah, technically are not cushions. But I do not care. Are not plushies, they are cushions. Okay. We have that, and then we have these random ones as well. And then obviously these new guys. The new additions to the gang. Okay. This is how many plushies we seem to have. Hello? Nobody told me I had this many. Like, are you kidding me right now? What is this? I feel like I'm gonna be haunted in my sleep by them. I didn't think I had this many. I thought I had like 10. Okay, we are definitely gonna be trying to get more. I'm gonna make that happen. Because that is hilarious to look at. Like they're all just like sat there, minding their own business. Love it. Ooh, do I have any more apple seeds? I just realized I put all the apples into the jam maker. I never put any into the seed makers. I never put any in. Go check. Now? Yeah. Do we have any? We have 2 apples. Okay, we can put those down. I only need 2 right now. I might need another 2, but we won't be able to have them for the stream anyway because they take too long to be made, but that is fine. Wow. That would have been better if it was an apple seed. I don't need damn carrots. Like, why would I need carrots? What would I do with carrots? Realistically. I can literally do nothing with carrots that are going to be useful unless it's for food. Whereas these guys give me monies. We have 24. So I can put like another 4 apples in. And then I might have to go and use the rest of the apples to make seeds. Because otherwise, I don't know. I love them with ranch. I've never tried ranch, but it kind of makes me like, I don't know. I feel like it's the kind of food I'd be a bit like, about. Like one of the American foods, I'm a bit like, I don't know about that. But hey, a lot of people seem to like it. Like a lot of people. So if I don't try it, I can't comment, can I really? I'm not allowed to comment. We don't really have it in the UK either. I've seen it like 3 times in my whole life. And that is about it. So that's probably why I've never tried it. But hey, I mean, I love carrots with ketchup. I love carrots with ketchup. So who am I to judge? Fine arrows. Nice. I think I sell it in stores there now. I've seen it in 1 shop. And I've seen it in like 2 restaurants, I think. That is it. That is all I've ever seen. You can use it for everything. What even is ranch? What even is ranch? Oh, like what is it? Oh my god, my mum's messaging me things. Yeah. I thought she was asking me a question that could be answered later, and I was like, oh, she's asking a question for me. I need to answer the question. It's like a cream-based salad dressing with garlic and herbs. Ooh. Okay, maybe I would like it. I feel like the word ranch puts me off. So maybe I would like that. In here in States for you with chicken tenders, chips, fries, and veggies. I know that Taylor Swift, being a big Swiftie that I am, there's this big like joke about it that she likes, is it seemingly ranch and ketchup mixed together? She was at one of the Chiefs games and she mixed them together with her chicken tenders. And it became a big meme. So I know that she likes it. So I know it's probably good. So she sucks. I'm an Eagles fan. Well, the funniest thing about it is, so was Taylor. I don't think people understand that. It's so funny. Like, she has like a song about having like, well, it's not about that, but she has a song where in the lyrics she talks about having an Eagles t-shirt in it, and it's really funny that her boyfriend's brother was the one on the Eagles team. I know she's from Pennsylvania. Yeah. We beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl last year. I don't think I watched last year's. I think I tried to watch the last one before that. Wait. My mum just said, I picked one of each but don't know. Ask the squad. What is she asking me? What? I have no idea what she's... I cannot stream when she's texting me. I have no idea what's going on. She just told me to ask you guys a question. Ask stream. What am I asking stream? What's the question? Which one? Okay, pumpkin pie or cheesecake, coffee syrup. Which one's best? Pumpkin pie or cheesecake? I don't need any, so she's asking for herself. Personally, I think it's pumpkin pie and pumpkin cheesecake. Yeah, pumpkin pie or pumpkin cheesecake coffee syrup. Pumpkin pie. Pumpkin pie. There you go. Usually she wouldn't have asked a question like that, but I think she picked one of each up and she had no idea, like, which would be best. Because I'm from the States. Yeah, you guys like your pumpkin pie. I don't think I've ever had pumpkin pie. I love pumpkin, but I don't think I've ever had pumpkin pie. Maybe this year's the year. Maybe it's the year for trying American food. I don't think I'd ever say that, but here. I'm down. If I can find something. We don't really have that over here, actually. Let's grab you some ranch while she's there. Well, I think she's at, by like the pictures of what she's sending me, I think she's at TK Maxx, which you guys call TJ Maxx. Because we're kind of obsessed. We're kind of obsessed. We got an emerald. We're kind of obsessed with it. You cannot go to TK Maxx and like fail to come home with something. That is the best place to buy books from. I went there like 3 weeks ago and I was like, there's no books. I couldn't find a book I wanted. And I went there last week and I found the book that I'd looked at 5 times. I've looked at it like 5 times. I was like, I'm not going to get it. I'm not going to get it. And I went back and I was like, I need it. I'm getting it. I've seen it too many times now. The world is trying to tell me something. And now I'm trying to get through a book so that I can read that book. But every time I go, I rush the book section and the mugs. Books, mugs, blankets, plushies, like this guy, and this guy. And then, oh, my frog. Oh, guys, I put Frogbit on the bed. He's not in camera view. I apologize. The little miniature, like, frog guy is like this big. I got them all from TK Maxx. Literally the best place to go. I'll always tell people that. But yeah, I mean, I'm obsessed. I kind of wish that I could go to like the TJ Maxx you guys have just once in my life because it seems so good. Like ours are good. Don't get me wrong. I know they're good. Like I say, I praise it. But sometimes I'm like, I see pictures from you guys' shops and I'm like, oh, I need it. And it's sometimes they do actually have the same stock somehow in America as they do in the UK. And I'm like, that's very confusing. But hey, I'll take it. I don't know how that happens. The massive banana noble shop. Oh, I love that. The one thing I would want to do if I went to your guys' side of the world, that would be it. Because like, don't you have like Starbucks in some of them too? Like, we don't have stuff like that. I would assume though, we do seem to have quite a lot of like independent bookshops in like little villages and stuff. I've seen a lot of those before, but the big bookshops with the coffee shops, perfect. Yep, coffee and reading, genius. Yeah, exactly. Can't go wrong with a book and a good coffee. Perfect. Sometimes tea works too, but like fruit tea, not the boring black tea. Coffee, matcha, or a good fruit tea in a book. The thing is that I can't read books without having like an atmosphere, so I have to have like the ambience videos on. And right now I'm reading Anne of Green Gables, so I've got like a farm with like the rain up on my TV every night. Oh my god. She just, I don't know if you guys can see that. I don't think you can. She's sending me pictures of the potato frog light. It's a potato dressed up as a frog. Oh no. Venti soy latte. Oh. I don't know. I think when I go to Starbucks though, I'm more of like a refresher. Is it refresher? Is that what they're called? Am I remembering that wrong? No, that's right, I think. Like the iced like fruity drinks and stuff. The mango pill refresher, I think it's called. So nice. I never had like boba or bubble tea or anything like that before until that drink came out. I love it too much, and it's gonna go away in like a month or less actually. But I know that when that drink goes away, because that's like the summer drink in the UK right now. I know when they get rid of that, pumpkin spice will come out. The pumpkin spice will come out. And then for the next like 2 or 3 months, the only thing I'll order if I go is a pumpkin spice latte. I can't help myself. Autumn is coming. I know. I'm so happy. I hate sun. I mean, I say I hate. I like it once a year and that's about it. One day a year I can take. Everything else is just too much. We don't have aircon unless you go to a supermarket. So unless you go shopping for food, you're gonna have no aircon in the UK. So like, I love when it's not too cold that I'm shivering, but it's cold enough to wear a jumper or maybe have a blanket and a hot drink. And just like, you know, watch the rain fall down. Watch the rain trickle down the windows. I'm such like a sad kind of like girl energy. I don't know how to put it, but I'm like a very sad girl energy. I love that. I love it. Hopefully a new king takes over, they flip the country to... Hopefully when the new king takes over, they flip the country up to par a bit. Oh, are we talking about William? Because that is going to be... I'll always say this, that will be insane. Yeah, that would be insane. I feel like I never thought I would see the day. I don't know why, I just never thought I would see the day that that happened, but I'm for it. We love William. It's going to make some massive changes. He would as well. This is the thing. Everyone, I'm pretty sure most people in the country love William. You know, even if you're not like a big royalist or anything like that, like, I've never had a problem with him. I would not mind him being our king. And we need big changes. I feel like a lot of the things in the current day don't feel current. Go for ethnicity, like... Feel it's small but efficient. Yeah. I feel like in like Korea, like South Korea and Japan are great for stuff like that. The way that the countries run is so much smoother. Have you seen like in I don't even know where it was. Honestly, it could have been China. I'm not sure, but there was a video a long time ago that I saw and there was an ambulance, okay? And it was in like a very busy road. And all I remember is every car like uniformly like done. So like, like they all moved to the right place at the right time, out of the way so quickly and so like in sync. So the ambulance could get through. If there's an ambulance in the UK or a fire engine or a police car or anything trying to get through, people will not move. Why? I don't know. They just don't. Live small but efficient. They're all for work. No family or fun, so they kick ass in efficiency, dead last in confidence. I get that though. I get like the thing is with these countries, they run so much smoother. Even if that is the case, they do run smoother. The UK is a mess. The UK is a mess right now. I would be up for some good change. Definitely. Okay, I'm just thinking, if I run an ad now, can I even do that? I can. If I was to run ads now and do a little be right back, and then ads won't run until the last half hour stream, maybe. Or I could run a 1 minute 30 now, and then 1 minute 30 minutes. I don't know what to do. We can do one or the other. I think I might just do an ad break now. You know, we just had one 30 minutes ago, but I need to be right back. I think we might do that. And then when I come back, we will only have one more ad break and it will be within like the last 30 minutes of stream. Before we do any of the games or anything, and we can use my tickets. So I don't want to have ads go off in that time. So I might do a little ad break now. And then, how do I do that? How do I run a 3-minute ad? I don't think I physically can. Not on my OBS anyway. For some reason. For some reason, I am not able to run a 3-minute ad. That is crazy. Where is my 3-minute ad? Where is my 3 minutes? 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Ad. There it is. Okay, I'm gonna do that and I will be right back. And then we will go back to Bahari and try and find gold because I can't find silver or gold. And when I come back, oh, we might try and go to Bahari a little bit, but honestly, it might just be worth going to the markets. We'll see which happens first. But that's what we'll do. So I will be right back. I'm just gonna leave the screen, I think. Do I have like a thing? Okay. I will be right back. I saw your message when I left. I like looked down at my phone for 2 seconds, and all I see is Raz saying hi to the chair. Hello, Raz. How you doing? What time is it? Okay, we're back before the market. All good. Chat stream. I love that. Okay. My mum kept sending me pictures again while I was away of like plushies and like things that I keep leaving behind in the shop. And every week when she goes back and I don't go with her, she's like, "Do you like this?" I'm like, "Yeah, I left it there last week. I feel terrible that I left a cute little green dragon guy on his own. I didn't bring him home. And now you've just shown me that he's still sat there. I feel dreadful." Also, a cute little avocado plush. I feel dreadful. And she left before I could even message her anyway, so. Not too bad, I just escaped work. I hope your day was sufficient. Hopefully worked treat you well. Oh, my mic is so high up I can barely see the screen. We will stay around here and then we'll go straight to the market at 6. Because I don't want to be too far away. So that we can get there on time. I want to speak to all the people and try and get the friendships up a little bit. It's not going to do too much to talk to them, but I've definitely leveled people up by just talking to them at every market. A couple times a day. Works well enough. I remember the last time I tried to do friendship, like gifts and stuff, that is so, like, it's annoying because I try and do it and then it's not the right one because the list of stuff isn't quite correct. And so I can't be bothered with gifts. Wasn't too bad, although I think I need a 500% pay rise. Oh, what's the reasoning? What's the reason? Did you have to put up with something? I, for the life of me, cannot find any gold. I don't think the gold or the silver is happening. I'm not gonna lie, I don't think we're gonna get any of it today. Which means I've done no quests. Reason is I want a 500% pay rise. You know what? Good enough reason. Good enough reason. There doesn't need to be another reason. Actually, let's go home quickly and then go to the market. Just as it starts. That should work. Also, I was saying at the beginning of the stream, I don't know if anyone else was here, but I did finally start teaching my mum the Switch, the PALIA, the Switch. And she didn't get very far, but we did do it. We did do it. Okay, we don't have the coins. Okay, I didn't think we had any coins. But yeah, we got as far as the Einar quest, the first Einar quest. That's the as far as she got. But she spent like an hour in the character creation being like annoyed that none of the outfits that you have match the particular blue hair she wanted. So then she ended up picking purple. Wait, can I look at her thing? Is it here? Can I click on it? No, I can't. But this is a little character. She's got like purple hair and a purple outfit to match. She was like, I really want this blue hair and none of them match, and I'm annoyed. You know, I haven't given them a design for a machine idea that would turn in a 2-week job into a 2-day job, so I'll take all the money saved as a pay rise too. Oh god. But you have given them a design. Oh, okay. I mean, efficiency, right?
Stop second guessing yourself and speak.
Wait, you did? 2-week job into a 2-day job. Yeah, you deserve that pay rise. Hello? Oh my god. You just cut down a lot of time. Oh yeah. Someone give this guy a raise.
Is Ashley now ruining your life or what? Hope you don't get murdered.
Oh my god. I know she's like out there and everything, but like she just like say that to me? Like, oh, come on. Let me speak to her, please. Why can I not speak to her? Will you tell your sister to speak to me, please? Thank you.
You could help me solve a mystery.
There's no way that just happened. Wait, what is this? I couldn't tell anything about the pot you found from sight, but by smell, that was a different story. I smell bits of water lotus. What is this?
Always keep that.
Nothing is, they've been doing this job the same way for the last 20 years, and no one has thought of a way to speed it up. Seriously? Okay, that sounds ridiculous. No one's thought of a way to speed it up, and it's been 20 years of it. Wow. Imagine. 20 years. And with the technology differences within the last 20 years, you'd think something would pop up, right? That's kind of crazy.
I am unironically pleased to see you.
Oh, wait, is this a new thing? Oh, no. It's just a normal conversation. I was like, is he gonna tell me a whole story or something?
It's gonna be such a great day. I want to hear all about you.
Life's not worth living without those you love. Our chats get me through the hard.
Is it? Okay, we had 30 hours. I just think we really do need
Work together?
something to pass the time at the market. I want to grind these tickets. I do. I need something.
Welcome back.
I need to do
Don't be a
something.
stranger.
How do I speak to him?
Better than mine.
I need to do something that is gonna pass that little bit of time. And so far there is nothing. Because all I can do is talk to the people, buy things, fish, or just stand still. Fishing would be a good bonus. Yes, exactly! I think we should be able to catch certain fishes that equal a certain amount of tickets, like 1 to 5 would be good enough for me, honestly. I know that it might not even seem like a lot. Do that for like... That's so loud. It's so loud. I'm trying to talk. Thank you. You do like 1 to 5 for like basic fish, depending on what they are, and then do like 20 and 20 tickets if you have to get the real rainbow fish plush. Exactly. So if you get like the rare stuff like plushies or whatever, you can get like however much for them. That would be good, and I don't know why they don't do that. Either that, or we need Hot Pot back, or we need another game like Hot Pot. Even something that's solo, right? So it's just like one machine thing, but we can do like pay 50 gold a go or something. I don't know. I don't care how much it costs. I'll play it. Like, I'll play it, and you can get us like plushies and stuff from it. I know we have these, but you have to basically come to the market 3 or 4 times to then get enough tickets to then get 1 coin to then get 1 plushie, and it's just kind of like not it. I want something I can play no matter what I do, so that every time I come to the market, I can go straight to it and I can just play it, right? So it's just like here, and we could just like play it. You already know there would be a line of like 50 people. Like, how many people there are on the server? I don't know. I think it's less than 50, but... Hi, friend. They would all just be like stood here playing it. You know? Like, not the machine that they have in the thing. What is it? The underground market? I don't like that. I'm not good at that. We've established I'm not good at that. And I don't really want the tower either, because I hate that. I hate the tower. But just give me the ability to like do one thing the whole time until I have the other games to play. I don't want to just fish. I don't even like fishing that much. 25. Oh, hello, friend. I'll join. 25 or 26 players per server. Can't remember. Okay, that's like not a lot. But you can imagine if there was one little machine the size of me, just here somewhere, right? There would be a line of people behind just like playing it. It'd be like a big accumulation of like everyone here playing it. Because right now all the people doing it are fishing. Which is okay, but the only thing you could do is make a little bit of money out of it, and it's not much anyway. This is why I kind of wish we had like... You know when like a game asks you when it's like in like its testing phase, like they say to you all the time, like if you've ever done an alpha test or like a pre-alpha test or whatever, they obviously say to you like, what do you want in the game? What would you recommend for the game? They should just have that. They should just have that. I don't think we have that. Maybe we do. I don't remember. There used to be something. Even when the game was in beta. Do we still have it? Daily discussions. Gameplay help, quest help. I don't think we have it anymore. I don't think we do. Console, tech help, issues, access. No, there's nothing. We used to have like a thing in the Discord when the game first came out into beta where it was like you could just give suggestions all the time. I remember at least a good few people in my chat at the time actually giving like the suggestions for things that truly made sense. Like some people didn't like that when you catch insects and you display them that they have to be in a terrarium. They didn't like that. And I was like, yeah, I don't really like that either. Can I catch a butterfly? Can I just have the butterfly on my plot just flying around? You can like catch it and then put it back on your plot or in your chest, but like, can I just have it flying around my plot? I don't know why that's not a thing. Give me the ability to do that. That would work too. Yeah, exactly. I feel like having these little things that people came up with themselves, like, why are we not giving the ability to let people do that? Like, let people give you suggestions. I think it'd be great. There are so many creative people in the community too. Some questions when I signed up to see if they would let me in when I applied for another alpha test. There were? For this alpha? I don't know what the things were for me. I applied for the alpha every single time I could. Not for PALIA, okay. Because like I applied for PALIA every time I had the opportunity to. And then I didn't get it, unfortunately. It wasn't until someone on Twitter was like, hey, I have a code if you want it. Forever thankful for that person. But when I applied, yeah, there wasn't really anything on there. But for a different game, I don't think... I remember getting like a afterwards thing that was like, do you have anything you'd like to add into the game? And I believe they listened to me. I made the suggestion of girlier outfits. you already know that's what I did. But yeah, they did it eventually. Other than that, I don't believe I've ever been asked before playing a game. I don't know. What game was it, out of curiosity? I've only done like, I think 3 alphas now. One of them failed terribly. PALIA's alpha was so fun. Lofty's alpha is so fun. I actually can't wait for December to be able to play Loftier again. I do wonder if we'll get another Loftier playtest before the release. I'm curious. I honestly cannot wait to play Loftier on stream though. I think you guys are going to enjoy it. For you guys that are on like PC, because I'm not sure it's going to be coming out onto console just yet. I'm not sure if it will be. I think I need to double check that. Either way, you guys that are on PC are 1000% gonna enjoy it. It's literally PALIA, but with like... what's the word? PALIA, but with like environmental care. As like a main focus. Remember how it was sort of like a farming life sim, a bit like PALIA, but single player and lower quality graphics. So it wasn't an MMO, it was single player. I'm trying to think of anything it could have been. Lower quality graphics as well. I don't know if I remember. Just a couple of years ago before I applied for PALIA. Oh, a couple of years ago before PALIA. I probably didn't even play that game then. PALIA was like my first game I played on PC that wasn't Fortnite or Valorant. It was my most anticipated game alongside Dream Valley at the time. Like I was like on edge waiting for this game to come out. The fact that it's even here just makes me feel so weird. Every time I play and I say that, I'm like, this game is real. Like I remember the first time this game was ever mentioned and I was like, Whoa, that's everything I ever wanted in the game, and now now it exists. Perfect. It's gonna be so weird though when December comes around and every game I've been anticipating for years is now all playable. Like, it was PALIA, Dreamlight Valley, Hogwarts Legacy, Witchbrook, and then Loftia. Those were like the 5 games I have been like anticipating for years. And they're all gonna be here by December. If not earlier, actually. I find that crazy. I find that crazy to believe. Wait, which one are we going to? This one? No, they're 200. I think we'll just do this food. We'll do this time. No, we got nothing. We didn't even get starred food. Damn it. That is so annoying. Okay, we have 40 minutes in game until chopper chase. How many more do we need? How many more do I need? Not these ones. We need another 3k balloons popped. That's going to take a long time. And then 1,000. So we need about 630. Oh, we're going to get this one done. I need to get at least 4 chappers. That's the goal because I'm in a pie right now. Thanks to the person that invited me. I wasn't even going to join. I wasn't going to join the pie, but hey. Yeah, we need 4 chappers and then we can get how many tokens? It's not a lot, right? How many is it? This one. Oh, 500. Okay. Okay. That's gonna give me 500, then I'll do it. Let's go. Send the chappers out. Come on. This is the longest minute of my life. I just want to catch some chappers. 5 more minutes. 4 more minutes. I'm so impatient when it comes to this. This is why I think we just need a game. Or something. We need an incentive to want to come. And like the new plushies were definitely an incentive for me. Like, it's the only reason I even remotely came back. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh no. Uh-oh. Sunhaven just tweeted about the plushie that they were bringing out that I almost wanted to get, but I didn't end up getting it, but they're giving away 2. I kind of need it. All I gotta do is follow them and retweet. So if you guys see me retweeting tweets to get giveaways, no you didn't. No you didn't. Okay, you did not see anything. Hey, friend! Friend! Come back! Tony! Hello! Hello! Oh my god. If you guys see me retweeting things after stream, you did not see me retweeting anything. You know what? I'm not ashamed. I want the snackaroon. Is that what's it called? Snackoon. I can never say the word. I can never say it. He's like a big fat purple raccoon that basically in the game you have to give him snacks in order for him to like move out of your way. And if you don't, he's just like in your way the whole time. But he's so cute. I want him. I almost bought it, but I was like, I don't know if I should. And then they're like, oh, we're gonna give it away. Do you guys believe this could be the first time that I actually win a giveaway? Because if it is, that would be great. Because I have no tweeting related social media, so I see it. I don't know. I don't like doing giveaways because I feel like they're a little bit like, you see someone like applying for a giveaway every 2 seconds. I'm like, oh god. But like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, hell yeah. You win that giveaway. You go do that. Go do it. You got this. You know? I miss this. Do I feel like here for us? That was fun. Oh, I'm. When did you say it was? Is it Wednesday? I think you said it was Wednesday. Yeah, Wednesday. Well, I hope everything's all, like, sorted out now. Like I said, you'll feel a lot better after Wednesday. Hopefully everything can feel a bit easier on you. We need 2 more. Am I even gonna get it? Oh, I need 1 more. Sometimes I wish I used the text chat more. So I could be like, guys, give me 1. Just 1. No. Just 1. I need 1 more and I get 500 tickets. Oh my god, I only have a minute. I have a minute. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. I just thank you, thank you, thank you. I know Wednesday's gonna be hard. It'll be hard. It'll be... I can imagine it'll be difficult. But don't hold back on anything. Let it out. You know? Let it out. Let yourself feel... Let yourself be and feel it. And then you can go into the rest of the week feeling a relief, in a sense. If that makes sense. Yeah. Like I say, I hope everything goes well as it can go. I'll be thinking of you. Oh, if we can stop. We can stop. We should get 500 tickets. Did I get them already? Let's see. No, we didn't. There we did. There we go. Wait, I have like 900. Let's go and buy some food and see if I can get any, Okay, we failed. We failed. It's okay. It's okay. We failed, but it's okay. Let's go back home. In fact, no, let's not go back home. Let's go to... In fact, yeah, go back home so I don't eat the starred ones because I want to keep them. I don't want to eat the starred ones. I need to display them. Yeah, I'm gonna do this giveaway before I forget because if I don't do it, I will literally be so upset. I love him so much. If you guys want to know what I'm talking about, I just retweeted the tweet. Forgot I was planning on doing some Maji markets, need lots of civilians for the silly idea. Ooh, what's the silly idea? Do tell. Do tell. I'm interested. You need to know. Oh. I should probably go through and put these on my my storage plot. Now that I think about it. Is it just those? Oh, it's that one too. It's a secret? Don't do that to me. That's not fair. That's not fair. There's no way. You can't tell me that and then not say what it is. That's cruel. That is cruel. Oh my god. That's teasing. Oh. Oh, we're out. Okay. Put that one on. Can I put it on the edge of the table, or are you not gonna let me do that? Okay, of course you're not. Okay. We put this one here. It looks a bit weird, but it's fine. It works. Well, not really, but it's funny to not tell you. Oh god. Don't do that! It's not a secret, but let's just, like, not tell Casey about it. Really? Also, I don't know if you're still here, Tony, but I actually, I bought the landscape finally. Also, that is actually not the most exciting thing to tell you because I just realized we did do the PALIA with my mum. I did teach her the Switch a little bit. Now I say a little bit because she only got as far as getting to the Einar quest where you meet him and start fishing for the first time. But we did it, okay? She got very tired and had to stop after a certain time, but she did play it. I'll give you a hint if you like. Okay, go ahead. I want to try and guess at least. Oh my god, hell's gonna freeze. I said to her yesterday, like, hey, do you want to do it? Because it wasn't that simple. Ooh, okay. Basically, I was like, do you want to do, like, we had some stuff to sell, and then I was like, do you want to sell the, like, get those uploaded to sell, and then, like, do you want to do a Switch? She was like, okay, cool. So we sat down after we put the stuff onto to sell, and I was like, the game needs to update. Is that okay? She's like, okay, we'll just, like, sit here and wait. So we wait 25 minutes. The Switch had to update, and then the game had to update for 25 minutes. Then it had an hour and a half update. Because I haven't updated it for like a year. So then she went away, and I was like, I'm sorry, I didn't think to update the game before asking you to play. And then she'd gone and taken my brother to work, I think, and she came back. Oh, she went to go pick him up. She came back, and I was like, hey, it's finished updating. Do you want to do it? She's like, okay, sure. So we eventually we did it. She spent an hour in character creation, complained that none of the clothes were nice. Eventually made a character, and we went in and did like the beginning quest stuff, and then she got to like the fishing bit and she was like, I'm too tired. So I was like, it's fine. When things settled out back down here, when I'll be happy to help her with how she wants. Ooh, I'll let her know. I did say you guys would probably be down to help with anything. It's whether she like picks it up again. If she picks it up on her own, that'll be great. Otherwise, it'll be like me saying like, do you want to do it? Or like her coming to me being like, can you help me with this? Because she's done pretty well with the guitar. I haven't even sat with her and taught her anything. She's taught me more than I knew before, and I played guitar years ago. So she's doing good with that. I think she can do quite good on the Switch, actually. What's her character's name? I'll get it up. You guys want to like add her at all? It's the same as her Twitch name. Hint is up. Wait, you're gonna build an up house? How are you gonna do that? Are you gonna, is it like a big glitch thing? That is really intriguing, actually. An up house. Is that it? I can only imagine that. Oh my god, I wish. I really need them to, yep. Okay, I love that. Up is such a good film. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. When you've done that, you've got to let me come and see. That would be so cool. I'd love that. Oh my god. That is. Tell her I'll send her a friend request. Okay. I was a friend too, but she hasn't accepted me yet because she hasn't been on. But I'll let her know. She'll know it's you, I think. She's probably seen the name on stream a lot, so she might know it's you. But that's so cool, Raz. You gotta invite me when you've done it to show me it. But yeah, Tony, I actually bought it. I bought the landscape finally. This is my first ever landscape I've done. Ever bought, not done, bought. But I just wish you could like decorate further. Because obviously you can only decorate like as far back as here. And that frustrates me quite a bit. Because I want to decorate up here. But I still love it. It's still beautiful. Tempted to make the house in my cave garden, the up house. Ooh, the cave garden? What's the cave garden? Curious. Also, I just realized I didn't put my house on the thing. Not like it matters too much, because put my house on the tour board isn't that big of a deal anymore, because I've got what I want. But still. Wait, do I have the other one, actually, now that I think about it? Do I even have the, Can I buy, like, a... No. I don't even know how to get it, then. I don't even know how to get the thing for the nameplate. The bigger one. How do I get the other one? What do I do for the... Is there not a bigger one for the frog? Is this the only one that there is? Kind of weird if it is. I love it. It's so cute. It's so beautiful. Like, it literally just looks like a starry night. I know it's a cave, but it looks like a starry night sky. Using the build items you can, but not without. Oh, I could. That is something to think about, actually. Come have a look. I'm here. Ooh. Let me see. I also, by the way, got all of my plushies out just to see how many I had. I don't know if... I think it was Tony that said it. When I first streamed again on this account after so long of not streaming, I was like, I don't have any plushies. And you were like, you don't have any plushies? That's so sad. Now I have like 100. It's just ridiculous. It's starting to look a bit like my bedroom. Full of plushies. What is this again? You said it was a cave guy. Oh my god. Oh, it's such a... Oh my god. Wait, with the sharks? Okay, I love this. I love this. Hello? Oh my god. Wait, this is so cute. You still need to try my maze? I can come and do it right now if you're online. That would be kind of funny, actually. Because we're not going to get any, we're not going to get any of the weeklies done because I tried to do the first weekly and it's not even happening, so. But this is so cute. I love this landscape so much. Like, what do you even mean? Just logging in. Okay. Okay, let me know. Let me know and I'll come visit. See if I can get lost for half an hour. Wait. There's a bigger version of the snail. Is this like from actually catching the snail? Is this where this plushie's from? After it took me about 8 hours. 8 hours? 8 hours? 8 hours. That is insane. What the? What? That's crazy. And that's the plushie from the book. Okay. I need that. I need him. He looks dopey. I love it. I kind of wish he had a little smiley face. I don't know if that's supposed to be as... It's not. Okay. He needs a little smiley face on him. It'd be even better, but he's still adorable. I love him. I only just saw that. I just looked up and saw this. You guys are so creative. If you want to see what's making the waterfall have... Ooh, okay. Give me a second. This is so cute. Oh my god. You guys are so creative. I need to just, like, do things instead of, like, overthinking it. I'm gonna assume that's how you guys kind of just, like, do it. You just don't overthink it too much. Because I overthink everything. Oh! Cool idea. You guys are so creative. I gotta just do it. I've gotta just do it because these things are so cute. I love it. I'm so obsessed with it. Seeing everyone else's ideas, I'm like, I need to do it. And I just don't do it because I overthink it. But this is just like such a cute idea. I need to stop overthinking things and just do them. I need to just get them done. I love this idea. How cute. Look at that. I don't have any glitched things on my main plot. You don't have any glitched things? How do you have nothing glitched? That's crazy. Even I don't think I've actually decorated without a glitch yet. I don't have very complicated ones, but it's very rare to see people not decorate with glitches. Nope, not my main one. That is interesting. I feel like to make things look a certain way though, you kind of have to glitch it. I feel like for me, to make things the way I want it to look, it's going to have to be glitched. I'm going to have to glitch. Most of that path to the gate is all anchored to a red winterlight present. This one? Wait, what? One little present did this? Crazy business. Crazy business. What do you even mean? One little red present. Oh my god. Yeah, I've got to stop overthinking this and just get it done. I feel like it would be so much more fun to just do it and not think about it too much. I have got the decorating itch too. I'm not gonna lie. I have. But thank you for having me though. I appreciate it. It's beautiful. I love it. You've given me inspiration. Can I come and visit? Are you on the plot, Tony? Because I've come to this beautiful, pretty plot, and now I'm gonna go get lost in a fish tank, I believe, of a maze. I only have 8 to 10 glitches max on my other plots combined. Oh. I've only really done 2 different kinds of glitches, I think, before, and that was difficult enough, so... Yes, okay. We are going to go and get lost. If I get so lost that I don't make it to the next market, I am suing. Oh my god, I'm literally... If I do this simply, I will be shocked. Okay, is it all loaded? Is it loaded? Hi. Okay, where do we go? Suing only if you get out. Only if you can get out of the maze. Yeah, I can't really sue in the maze, can I? Oh my god. Wait, how tall is this? How big is this? How do you have so many fish? Wait, that's kind of insane. Hello? What? I don't think I've ever fished this many fish. 4 tanks high? How big is it though? I'm scared to go in. Am I actually gonna get lost? I'm doing it. I'm doing it. Oh my god. Wait. Can I go this way? If I get through this the first time, like, without getting too lost. We got lost once. I'm not very good with mazes, I'm not gonna lie. I'm quite terrible. Okay, we hit dead end. Wait, what's this? Is this where we came from? Nope. I'm dreadful. I would not survive in, like... Is it the first Hunger Games film? Camera angle messes with your head. Oh god. Yeah, it kind of does actually. Because if you do it like this, I can kind of see, but like, it's a bit easy to see like this. Okay. This way? I think it's... Oh, it's not the Hunger Games I'm thinking of. It's one of the Harry Potter films where they have to go through that maze at the end. The games. Oh god. I would not have made it out alive. Oh. Is this cheating? If I get on this, is it classed as cheating or is this actually the end? Rewind while you're there, both ways in and out. Bing filled in? Bing filled in? If this is the end of it, being filled in. Oh, okay. It's an alternative way in. Okay. It's an alternative way, so I'm not gonna do that way. Oh. Oh. I'm like on the Madhouse Tea Pie. Okay, that's not the way out though. Oh. Oh. Is this the end? Did I do it? Did I actually do it? There's no way I actually did that. Oh my god. I actually did it. I thought we would be here forever. I'm usually terrible at these things. Like how? How did I just do that? That wasn't terrible, right? I did good. I'm gonna say I did good there. That could have been a lot worse. I could have been in there for like 15, 20 minutes. I think I was only in there for how long? Like 3 minutes? It's basically 3 routes in. So you thought about everything. If I was to do Miz, it would just be like a circle and there'd be like no way out. Like, I would end up making it so there's no exit on accident. It wouldn't be on purpose. It would be purely by accident because I wouldn't even think about needing an exit. It would be like just an entrance. Plus, hello? Wait, where are the snake friends from? I think I've seen them before. I did change it because Father Camera messes with your head. Oh, okay. I mean, it might mess with the head, but honestly, it makes it more like of a mind game. Like, not being able to see like straight forward like this kind of makes it so it's a little bit more difficult. Oh my god. His friends are so cute. What are you? I don't think I've seen him either. Wait, is it a chapper or is it like a... I think it's a chapper, right? I think I've seen him either. The Lunar Market. Oh, damn it. I didn't go to the Lunar Market enough. I think they do one every year, though. You can make these? They're so cute. Wait, does he have like... Is that like a fork and a spoon as feet? Hang on. That is so cute. Wait, is that like a spanner for a hand? I love it. Oh, I love it. It's so cute. Okay, we need to get these little snake friends though. When the market comes back around. Hopefully they do it again. Also, like the little chaffers. I only have this guy, I think. Or one of these guys. I think it's this guy. This is all I have. Oh, did not mean to take a picture. I need this guy. Because a reward from a quest. I haven't looked at everything that I own. Sometimes I do have things I didn't realize I had. Like the daily collection things. I didn't realize I had them. So maybe I do have them. I built the redstone pyramid maze in Minecraft some years ago. The walls, floors, and ceilings kept changing as you moved through it. That sounds like a mind trip. It's like a mind trip. That would drive me insane. I should get the Chapo recipe from Najuma. Okay. I have quite a few little like side quests I need to do. So maybe I should get them done soon. And then I also need to start doing friendships because I don't know what Tisha's next reward is going to be, but it looks cute. It looks cute. I don't know what it is, but it looks cute, so I kind of want it. But I'm genuinely just impressed by how many fish you have, if I'm honest. The fact that you made a maze is cool enough, but like the fact that you have so many fish, I don't know how you can fish for that long. I missed off a few more pushes in there. Oh god, how many more can you fit? Like, I'm assuming you have way more than this as well. I already know that you guys have loads more than I do, but this is about how many I have, I think. But it seems a bit fishy to me. Honestly. I don't know how... Oh, you changed the map. I was so confused. I was like, did I glitch? Oh, you're gonna show me plushies? Hello? Oh my god! Wait, these guys are kind of cute. These guys are kind of cute. The catfish? Wait, they're so cute. The schmalls. I love how the schmall itself usually looks kind of like mean, right? The schmall itself looks quite mean. These guys are adorable. Oh. I love him. I love them, but I love this guy. Look at him. Oh my god. Okay, we need to step up the game. Like, I really, really need to step up the game, because what do you mean? What do you mean? I have never had some of these before. As you can see, I have a few more American stuff in there. I'm sure you can. I don't know which ones you would put in. Probably some fish ones, maybe. They're so cute though. Oh my god. Oh, I need this guy. I don't think I have this one. He's so cute. My god, the amount of potato pods you have is kind of impressive. I saw someone say the other day that they don't like the fact that they keep giving out potato pods. They just don't want them. And someone's like, oh, do you have any that you want? And they were like, no, I don't want any of them. Because they keep giving them out. I'm pretty sure I don't have them all. Where there's some you don't have? That's crazy. The fact that you have this many and yet you might not even have them all. I'm pretty sure the ones I have the most of is the purple ones. And I don't really like them. They're not my favourite. I like the mushroom ones. What do you mean I have a plushie addiction? I'm still missing 2 pods. Honestly. The fact that you... Honestly, I'm going to say this. The fact that you even remotely have this many of these machines is hilarious, because back in the, like, testing days, there was a person that was trying to, like, collect them, and they were so expensive and rare to find in the market that you, like, could not get them. So the fact that people have this many of them now is hilarious. Like, so many of them. But this is insane. I need to try harder. Clearly. Yeah, I saw the other ones as well that you have. Like, that is insane. The fact that you even have, like, 2. I know they give... Did they give us 1 each? I think. Is it a login reward or something? But other than that, I'm surprised that people are able to get it now, because before the beta came out, they didn't make it easy to get. This person, I think, ended up with like 15, 20 of them, but that was impressive enough. And now there are people that probably have like 50 of them or more. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm impressed. I'm impressed, and you guys make me want to work harder to get them, because like, look at the little moth guy. He's like a ball of fluff. I did find a house a few months ago on the tours board that had those arcade machines a line around their entire plot. Okay, that is insane. That is insane. And if you'd have told me that 4 years ago, I'd been like, what do you mean? That's impossible. It's quite literally impossible. But now it's, the fact that it's even remotely possible to have 3 or 4 is ridiculous. I saw that plot too. I need to do house tours more and decorate more. That is going to be the thing I need to do in game, is I need to decorate and just do it. But let me have a little look at this message real quick. My mum's saying I won't be able to go to an appointment with her, but I'm like, I can. Because today's stream wasn't going to happen originally because we had to go somewhere, but then it got cancelled. So I'm streaming. And Wednesday might be the one I have to cancel instead. But yeah, if I ever cancel a stream for like no particular reason, it's probably because of something like that. So all the way around the outer edge. Wait, which what kind of plot is this? Is this like your main one? Oh, hello, friends. The Tao. Oh, I kind of forgot about Tao. I think I have him in my house somewhere. I forgot he even existed. Hello, friend. Oh my god. Oh, I love them. Wait, having him in the wall like that, like the plaque on the wall with the schmull matched up with the tree, is so perfect. I actually took a rough count. I think I worked out about 40 million in arcade machines on that plot. That many? Like, I know you probably are exaggerating, but there was that many of them that it was like that insane. That's crazy business. These are the only other plushies I have. The only other plushies he has, he says. Imagine. These are the only other plushies I have. Only. That's crazy. I don't know how you can say that they're the only. Iron Chappers are 60k each. 60k to like buy them? What? They cost 60k? That's crazy. I mean, the fact that I only have 380k is insane. And they cost 60k for one. Oh god, I need them though. This is just motivation to like make money, decorate more, and get more plushies. Because like, I love them. I love them. I can't believe, the thing is as well, you guys spent like more time than I did before. I started doing the plushies. You guys were already doing it for a while. I did not have it in me to be bothered to do it. And then I was like, why have I left it this long to do the plushies? And then the stickers became a thing, and I was like, I don't have any of those either. You might buy more in the future. Honestly, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I love them so much. They're actually adorable. I wouldn't blame you for buying more. Especially with the amount of money you make, I don't think it matters too much. I just buy them. 60k? Worth it. You can have all my stickers you like. I don't want them. Why not? I don't really use them. I just like collecting things. I'm a hoarder when it comes to video games. Oh my god. That boy is scary looking. My god, you guys decorating so cute. You're really motivating me to do it. I'm not gonna lie. I need to just get it done. I need to get it done. Because, like, this is so cute. Like, the motivation it takes to do this as well. Because I already know that, like, trying to line things up in this game is kind of insane. It takes a hot minute to do. This plot has 3 glitched things. Ooh. What are they? I'm interested. What did we glitch? Wait, where did we go? I think I lost you. I feel like I can hear you but not see you anywhere. I am still hearing my someone's calling. No worries, no worries. Inside? Okay. Okay. Oh, that way. Found you. Okay, what are the things that are glitched? Oh, the tree! I walked past a tree in a house, didn't even think it wasn't normal. And you know what? I like it. I like it, especially with like the that lights hanging down too. That's super cute. And another tree in the kitchen makes so much sense. That makes so much sense. I love that. I love the idea. It gives it like a proper woodland vibe. I might have to do these things, you know. I'm kind of thinking I've got to just like learn how to glitch and just do it without having to watch a video again and again while doing it. Because if I glitch something, I have to sit there with the video up and like rewind every 2 seconds to know what I'm doing for every single piece. I actually destroy the sticker packs now if I am unlucky enough to get them. You destroy them? No. No way. Some people might even trade stickers for plushies. I'm not gonna lie. There are some weird people in the world. Took me hours to get this damn tree in the center. Yeah, I can imagine. Please tell me you like did something in the meantime to like contain your sanity, like watching a film. Please don't tell me you sat there the whole time trying to do this one tree and did nothing else. Can't trade. Oh, you can't trade stickers for plushies. No, but there might be people that would trade like stickers and then give you the plushies all the way around. I don't know if I trust them. But maybe. Oh, honestly, just give them to me. Kept it until I got it. You did nothing but that one tree for hours. You're so dedicated. That is dedication. That is good self-control. I would not have been able to just do that. You're welcome to them. Honestly, like, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I'll take them. I'll take them off your hands. I don't want them for anything in particular. I just like having things. I like to be able to say I have a complete collection. I don't know what to do with them. I don't use them. But why not? This unit is the only thing glitched. Oh, I didn't even realize that you glitched it through like that. I think I tried to do that in my kitchen. I think I did do that in my kitchen, actually. think I put like some of these like in a way that made them look more like close together, but that's like the extent. The extent of my like glitches is that. And then I think it's like the doors that I made out of like the wooden building pieces. I think that's all I've done. It's not as impressive as making a tree in the house and making sure it's in the center. That's a whole lot more impressive. But I like the trees with like the log lights a lot. It's so cozy. I love it. Oh, guys, I need to decorate. I feel like if I wasn't so indecisive, we could do it on stream. But I'm so indecisive that whenever I've done anything like decorating in a game on stream, I spent 6 hours playing The Sims before on stream and still couldn't make my mind up about something. So I'm not sure if I'd be able to do it. It might be quite boring. Oh, this is so pretty. Oh my god. That's the glow from this landscape. Yeah, the glow through this is so pretty with this. Like the flowers and stuff. Oh my god. Oh, the little bench. Okay, I love this. Wait. This is so pretty. I feel like Ajiro would love this. I feel like he would love this. He would just come and sit here and daydream. It's so pretty. With a big mushroom behind it too. Oh my god. I would live somewhere like this. I would easily live somewhere like this. This is such like... This is so perfect. So perfect. Not finished yet, but I can think... But can't think of what to put in here. I don't really know what else you could put in here. Honestly, it's like pretty enough on its own. But I don't know if there'd be anything else to put in. I have no idea. I have no idea what can make it even better, because right now it looks beautiful enough. Like, I do this thing where I try and do like... Oh, plushies work well anyway. Maybe you've got like the flutter foxes and stuff. But the spring ones might look quite pretty in here. I don't know. That would look quite cute. But yeah, like Raz says, plushies go anywhere. You can just put them anywhere, it doesn't even matter. They just fit. How long do we have until market? Okay, we might go to the market soon. I have a few. You should probably put them in here then. They might go quite well with the flowers and like the pink and blue glow. Because they're like a teal and pink, right? They might look quite good. I don't know what else could, but they would. You could probably just sneak in like 50 of the potato pods, like the pink ones. They'd fit. Or you, like, I don't know, the ancient fishes are kind of a bit obnoxious, but they would go. They would go. But honestly, you guys are seriously making me want to just decorate finally. Been such a long time. I genuinely can't believe I've... Wait, is this a wedding altar? Because this is so cute. This is so cute. Like, I feel like the fact that I never decorated when I first started playing the game is insane. Like, I used to spend hours and hours and hours decorating in games, and I just kind of got to a point where I was like, not really feeling it. And now I'm like, I've got the itch. I remove the two out of my maze. Yeah, maybe. I feel like they would look quite pretty in here. They'd probably have a nice reflection to them and stuff. I may remove. Okay. I do think they look nice though. I take my usual position ready for balloon popping. Man, I'm gonna go do the market. I will try and do it as well for as long as I possibly can. Because I do want the tickets, but I just feel like every time someone says balloons or chopper, I'm like, ugh. I want another game. Give me something else, please. It's been 2 years of this. I don't know, how do you guys come up with these ideas? Do you guys like come up with ideas random? Like, do you just like do it? Like, you think about it and then you just do it? Or do you guys like take inspiration? Because I feel like I cannot just get on and just play and not have to think about like what I'm gonna do. Oh my god, another little garden. It's so cute. I need to just do things. If she could spam a trapper, it'll be bad. Yeah, it would be, but I feel like it's 2 minutes. Like, in the whole time you stood there waiting for it, it still kind of like sucks. You know? I want something to pass the time. I want something else to make more tickets. And then change up the color schemes or like the plushies every now and again. It would be a lot better. This was a challenge build. Ooh, what was the challenge? Or was it just like it was a challenge to make? It's like a tiny house. Or is that what it is? Is it literally a tiny house build? Is that the point? Cause you got the toilet outside. Did I guess that? There's no way I guessed that right. Yeah, I did. Okay, I'm on a roll today. I am on a roll. I don't know how, but I'm getting everything right. Oh, the little... Is this like a minnow or something? I think I got that right too. Oh my god, he's such a derp. Look at that face. It's so cute. The one thing I would always do in The Sims was make like little tiny houses because they're like easy to decorate. A single harvest house. This is a single harvest house. This is impressive. Oh, I think Joe's coming in. We gotta go to the market. I'm gonna go if you're going to. But thank you for showing me your plots though. I'm impressed by the little house too. Snail racing. Snail racing would be good. Oh, wait. How do I get out? I don't even know how to get out. Return home. Yeah, my mum says she is coming up. There she is. Say it and you literally walk through the door. Okay, I'm gonna go to the fairgrounds. See if we can serve sync or not. I don't know if Hook is here still. He's the one that said which one to get. I don't know if you heard that. You won't be able to hear that into the mic. Tony says he can never hear you speaking when you speak.
I said if it's not nice, it's Hoki's fault.
It should be. I don't know if I think I might have had that one before. Yeah. Okay. I don't know if I'm on the same one as... Oh. I'm on the same server as Raz. Whereabouts do you? You said you're at like your usual location. I'm curious. Why are you opening it now? Oh. It says I'm on the same server, but I cannot... For the life... Huh? Who? Yeah? Say hi.
Hi, Tona.
Oh my god. I seem to be invisible? Wait, invisible. Wait. Oh. Oh. Yeah. You're a ghost. Oh my god. Whoa, who did I just miss? Oh, Joe. You missed her. She literally just walked out the door. Oh no. Oh no. You always do that. Rigged. No. Okay, I gotta walk up there instead. Or maybe just not being patient. That might help. Yeah, every time she comes in and then you come in straight after, she's always left the minute that you're... Oh. How do I get up here? Why can I not get up? For the life of me, I have no way of getting up there. Usually this would be fine. Usually that would suffice. So complicated for no reason. She senses my aura. There she is. Hey, I finally made it. Although I still cannot see Raz. That's so weird. Like the one person in my party as well, and they're invisible to me. That makes no sense. Like you're a ghost. It's so odd. I don't know why it does that. It kind of bugs me. I feel like if the server can't handle people being here, why is it letting them? Boo. Oh god. I just don't know why. Why does it not let me see people? It makes it difficult to play as well because when you're trying to pick up a chopper and all of a sudden it's not there anymore because a ghost picked it up. Like, hello. Okay. I gotta shut up and drink. Cause I think I'm on my 3rd liter of water today. That's good. We're actually drinking today. I've been struggling all week to drink. I'm in stealth mode. Oh god. Like James Bond over here. You got ghosted? I'm literally, look at this. Ghosts everywhere. There's one there, there's one there, there's one there, there's one there. You drink that water? I did. I think you can only do 2 in the stream, to be honest, even if I think about it, because technically you can only do it every hour. So the hydration thing only works every hour for one person. So like, you don't even get the 3rd one because by the time you can do the 3rd one, I've ended the stream. I just like debate, like that's fully baiting. Like I'm like, oh, you can do it 3 times in the stream, right? No. Technically, yeah, but no. Even more entertaining if you can't see me firing arrows at you. That's so annoying as well. Was that you firing the arrows? There's no way. That is very annoying. Why is the game like this? Yeah, you did on purpose. I actually didn't. I can see them, but I don't see you doing it. I definitely didn't do it on purpose. I just realized I could change it to every 45 minutes. I guess. But it would still be once every 45 minutes. Don't get too excited. Technically, I could pretend to drink the water. I could just put it on limit and be like, yeah, I'm definitely drinking water. My bottle just doesn't run out. 59 minutes and 59 seconds. I'll just end at that time so you guys can't make me drink. Every 10 minutes and then just don't drink anything at all beforehand. That would be very bad. You realize I wouldn't even be able to stream if I didn't drink before stream, right? I drink a liter of water with my breakfast, a liter of water in between my breakfast and my lunch, and then a liter of water my lunch, if I'm able to. And that's 3 liters. And then I drink a liter of water with my evening meal. My dinner, my tea, whatever you want to call it. So I have like 3 to 4 a day. So if I don't drink like a liter or 2 before stream, I ain't streaming because I don't feel well. So like, no. Not happening. It's not possible. You can either have me drink every 10 minutes or not stream. If cereal is technically 500 milliliters of milk. I do not eat cereal. Cereal is not substantial enough food. Rainbow plushie. Cereal is not sufficient. I'll tell you what I had for breakfast though, because it was good. I made like French toast bites. So you cut up the toast before you dip it in the egg mixture. And then I fried that off with like protein yogurt with like these chocolate bits in it. And I did like frozen fruit, like Black Forest fruit. But it was like frozen, but I like frosted it and then cooked it a bit in the microwave. So it had like juice. So it was like, it's like having dessert for breakfast. I had, what the hell did I have in it? I had mushed up banana. So it was like banana spread, essentially. And then pomegranate. Oh, and like caramel biscuit sauce as well. It tasted nice to me. And I had that with a coffee and a liter of water. Put it in the microwave. Yes. I defrosted it in the microwave and then like put it on for a minute on normal setting. You bought the Raspberry Ripple. What thing was it? Was it the Sainsbury's own one that you were talking about? I think I don't remember which one we had of that. We've definitely either one of us or both of us have had some kind of one of those like Sainsbury's ice creams. I don't remember which one it was. We need a cooking stream. Never happening. Never happening. One, I have no way to even stream in the kitchen. Two, there are 3 people in this house. If I did a cooking stream, the equipment I use would be broken. And 3, I don't want to. If I like lived on my own, it'd be a bit different. I'd probably just do it with my phone. But no, that wouldn't go very well, trust me. I fell into ice cream aisle. It's unfortunate, but it's Kelly's. Oh. Okay. Inside joke. Love that. I'm gonna assume it's clotted cream ice cream. And 4, you make a mess. I'm not terrible when it comes to cooking. I'm not that bad. I'm not the one in the house that makes a mess when making food. And no, it's not Joe either. It's not Flow by you. It ain't my mom that makes the mess. Cooking streams, okay, putting frozen fruit in the microwave. No, I actually do make food. It's just like I made French toast for breakfast. Okay, just because I put the food in the microwave to defrost the fruit doesn't mean I can't make food. I think that if you guys had just seen what it looked like, you would have thought it wasn't terrible. Okay, I didn't present it the best, but if you tasted it, it would be amazing. Cause ice cream bags. It's really good because it's like clotted cream, I think. They don't just use normal cream, it's like clotted cream. But honestly, I could just eat a tub of clotted cream and that's it. I don't even need the ice cream. Just give me the main ingredient of it. I'm satisfied. But now I want scones. Now I want scones. Damn it. Oh, we're starting. We're starting. Stop yapping. We got balloons to pop. Big or plums? Okay, maybe this wasn't the best angle to sit at, actually, now that I think about it. I'm probably better off being next to you instead. Clotted cream, 85% fat. Do you know what, though? If I'm eating clotted cream, I don't care how much fat is in it. I could care less in that situation. No! I missed it! I got it. I think clotted cream on a scone with jam is just one of the nicest things ever. Like, such a comfort food, right? Especially if the scone's still kind of hot. Like, oh my god. Oh. Okay, I didn't set myself up very well. Why can I never find the good ones? If I ever find them, it takes me so long to find them. The people have already popped them. Maybe we should have been doing hunting instead of mining so that I could warm up my aim for this. I'm dreadful right now. Blue. No one was even shooting at that guy for like a long time. Where are they all? Oh my god, again and again and again. Every time I find the big balloons, it always pops before I can even shoot it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible. 537. You know, there was a time when I used to be able to get like 1,000 tickets from this. And 30 chappers. Those times no longer exist. I used to have scones with jam and my grand's homemade clock cream every time we went down to Cornwall to stay with her. Oh my god. The homemade though? The homemade clock cream. I bet that tastes amazing. Bro's washed. I mean, I've been playing Valorant all morning and I main like Sova. I have a couple of mains too, but like I mainly play Sova and he has an arrow, okay? He uses a bow and arrow. That is his thing. Tell me why. Tell me why. I've been doing that all morning. I played like 2 or 3 games and yet somehow I gained PALIA in my aim. Doesn't exist. I'm not good at either. I feel like the what is it? The like aim system or whatever you want to call it in PALIA is really not great in comparison. I used to make clock cream, can't stand the smell of it. You can't stand the smell of it, but it tastes so good. It tastes so good. Why have you removed them? I haven't removed them. I promise. I didn't remove them, and if I did, it just means that the bot's turned off. So. Give me a second. I'll see if it's turned off. Let's see. Is CloudBot on? CloudBot's on. I have followage turned on. I have followage turned on. Or followage. I always say followage because that's how it reads, but I have that. I don't have watch time though. For some reason, it's just not working. So, I don't really know why. I sent you a friend request. Yeah. So you have 2 friend requests right now. You have 2 friend requests. What is this person saying? You're a ghost for me? Yeah, it's not just me. It's me too. It's so weird. You have wings though now. You have wings, you're like an angel. Wait, you're like an angel. Wait, why can't I snooze ads? For some reason I cannot snooze ads, and I'm so sorry about that. I'm not really too sure why. However, I'm gonna try if it'll let me monetize 3-minute ad. I'm gonna run an ad break right now so that it doesn't go off in a minute. And you guys will be right back. Three-minute ad break. There we go. Instead of it starting when it wants to start. There we go. That's a little bit better. And then when it's done, we should be... No! That is so frustrating. The chopper chase started. Casey actually got me set up in PALIA yesterday. I did. I'm gonna see though. Like, I don't know if you're gonna wait for me to play to be with you when you play it, or if you just like pick it up yourself and decide to play it. I'm curious to see. Because when you got your guitar, you were very like, you're gonna have to help me with it. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I was a little bit like, okay, that's fine. Like, I'll do that. But you kind of just picked it up and did it. You kind of just like did it, and now you're like better than me. So, honestly, like, maybe you'll be a better gamer than I am. I don't know. And then she said, I'm still getting over the shock. I said I was gonna freeze over. Honestly, it might. No! But yeah, I'm curious to see if you pick it up yourself, or if like you're like, wait till I like can do it with you or what. Like, I'm kind of curious. I'm curious to see. Honestly, like, as much as I say like it's self-explanatory, and then like you're gonna say like it's not at all. Like, what do you mean self-explanatory? Like, it's so difficult to understand. I think if you just like commit to like a set time, you're like, okay, play for an hour, I'll get the hang of it. you will get the hang of it. I had no idea what I was doing when I first started playing PALIA because I'd never played a game like it. I ran around like a headless chicken for 6 hours straight. And this is when there was zero help available too because no one had a clue how to play the game anyway. And so I just ran around like an idiot for like 6 hours straight and had the most fun of my life. But then an hour turned into 2003 and so on. You're not wrong, Jack. The thing is, have you even played the game yet? That is a question for you. What's new? I mean, yeah, we still run around like a headless chicken and just have fun. I have no idea what I'm doing. I think without you guys, I wouldn't really have a clue what I was doing half the time. To be fair. To be fair. I have 172-hour playtime. No, you do not. You don't, because you haven't even accepted my friend request. I'm pretty sure you made an account, right? And then I added you. I don't think you actually accepted it. Welcome back, anyone that was in ad jail. I apologize. I had to run the ad then, otherwise it would have been running now. Nothing exciting happened. I only got 4 chapters. Plus, does Xbox even tell you that you have playtime? Oh my god, these guys are making me dizzy. Oh my god. How? Lies. Genuinely though, does PlayStation even give you your playtime? How is there so many people? There is a hell of a lot more people here than there used to be. This cannot be 26 people. Okay, I give up. I'm watching everyone run around in circles. It's making me dizzy. I can't imagine what it's like for you guys. I'm gonna see who is live. What do we get? 406. Okay. So we have enough to go and buy. I think we do this. We got 1. Okay, we got to start food, but we didn't get a single coin. I'm having terrible luck. I'm having terrible luck. And around the circle, so I am. It makes me dizzier than the frog glitch. The frog glitch was bad. It was quite terrible. But okay. We could raid this person. Let's go and put everything in my inventory and stuff first. And see if there's anything to fill up. We didn't do any of the weeklies, but you know what? It doesn't matter, it's fine. It's fine. Put some more of that in. So that I'm not just selling it for nothing. But we could honestly sell some of this now, because you're actually playing past 6. I feel so proud right now. I am ending very soon. We are ending very soon. I am literally just making sure that everything is full of materials before I do. Can do that. We don't really need to do any more iron. The balloon for the house and the claw machine broken. Oh my god. Oh, his tail. Oh my god, it's like poking through the wall. Hello? Do these need watering? Yes. Okay, we can pick that. We have loads of apples we can put on, which means that we can grow loads of seeds and loads of jam. Genuinely, I think it's such a cool little idea though that you're doing up. Like, I've seen people do it in other games because I think it's a bit easier. But in PALIA, that seems kind of difficult. Not gonna lie. It does seem kind of difficult. I don't know how someone can grab 12 of those chapters. I used to get 30 of them, I think, back in like the... Back in the day. Back in my day. back when the Chopper Chase was actually fun and not frustrating and made you want to like smash a monitor. Back then, it was actually like really not difficult, but it was still somewhat difficult to do, but it wasn't the hardest thing ever. And so there were people that used to be like me where you could get like 30 of them if you were lucky, but damn, yeah, it was insane. You could get quite a few. You had to do it really like a particular way. I'm not gonna lie and be like, yeah, it was easy, but you know, if you really did think about it properly, you could get it. You could definitely do it. My record was 39. See? See? That's what I mean. Mine was like, I think maybe like 32. It wasn't quite as good as yours, Ross. But yeah, it was still kind of insane. Okay, I think I'm gonna get this up. I gotta mute this. Get this up. And then go and see. Okay. I think I'm gonna send you to someone we've been to before. They are lovely. Oh, can I copy and paste their name, please? Okay, does that work? It worked. There we go. Okay. So before I end stream, I just want to say that like I'm possibly not going to be live on Wednesday. I have like 2 appointments that day, and it could either overrun the stream time. I might not even get home in time to eat. And the result of things, stress. So I might not be live, but wait, is my raid thing, is this like a follower emote, if anyone knows? But yeah, I probably won't be live on Wednesday, so I should see you guys on Friday. I'll say, I won't say I'll see you guys on Wednesday, but I should see you guys on Friday. And yeah, take care. We'll be on Eva. Yeah, I know. I'll be thinking of you though, Tony. I'm thinking of you. Hope you guys have a good rest of your day and of the week until I see you guys again. Go say hi. Go be nice. Spread some love. And I should see you guys on Friday.